All right, thanks, guys. Welcome to the close. 2 hours to go in the trading session. We'll take you right through to 4 o'clock. Pretty positive day. Nice follow through after the rally we saw this time yesterday. Here we go, 1.3% to kick off the final 2 hours of the day for the S&P 500. 0.8 there for the Dow. The NASDAQ leading right now, 1.6. Back to the upside, 1%-ish. 0.9 right now for the TSX here in Toronto. Everything else kind of choppy. 3% for Ethereum, but look at Bitcoin there, kind of lagging a bit. Still basically flat on the day. Here is the S&P 500. You can see 1.31 right now, led by tech stocks. The entire group pretty much. CDW standing out there. There's one more red one, but everything else, hardware equipment makers, software makers, semiconductors, they're all up nicely. There's AMD, 2.5%. Yeah, Enphase off some positive earnings. NVIDIA there as well, LRCX and Micron, to name a few, all doing quite nicely. There's Chipotle, CMG, still up about 10%. Penn as well, having a nice day. All the travel names, or travel-related names, including the airlines over here in positive territory. 5% for UAL, having a big day. CVS to the downside, off earnings, 5.6%. But otherwise, though, pretty good look here, right across the entire board. Big positive moves. PDD standing out. JD.com standing out positive for both after big days yesterday as well. Moderna back to the upside. Here's the chip makers, all of them nicely higher. Docu up 4.6%. One of those days, kind of a dartboard day here. We can throw one and not hit a positive stock, or it'd be hard not to hit a positive stock. Let's get into what was moving around. If you joined us this morning, we'll spend some time here, revisit some of the ideas that we looked at in the first hour. If you joined us, we talk about everything you need to know in the pre-market and then get ready for the open. Sean's going to lead the way here and talk us through one of his trades from this morning.
Hey guys, it's Neo. We could have chose Ford, but we'll go with Neo today. We could have chose Facebook, but we'll go with Neo today. Again, on our sticky note, if you're looking for trade ideas at TraderTV Sean, or just hit the hashtag sticky note and you'll find out some opportunities. Today, some rulings coming down over there in China about the listings, about being able to buy different stocks, being able to be included in different opportunities. So XPEV leads the way, but I went over there with Neo today, just looking for different levels. It was up in the pre-market. We like Neo. We also saw that the NASDAQ was up today. So let's always, where we start from is, let's look at a daily chart. Is there going to be an opportunity that we already know we want to go long? It's up in the pre-market. We have news, okay? So we know we like the long. First identified right here, 25, right? We're breaking out. This is yesterday. We broke out from yesterday's high of 24.80 or so. Opened the day near that 25 mark. Actually a little bit higher in the pre-market, 25.50. But we're like, you know what? We'll take 25. You go back here to early January, or late January, early February, $25 pretty key, and also $25 pretty key to the backside there. So let's look to see what happened here today. All we did was put our bid right there at 25. So we actually put a bid at 25.15 or so. And why? There's that 25 level again. So we noticed that here, you put it back on the daily, you know, you got that support, so why not do it right there? The only mistake really in this chart is obviously we don't have anything for this big move up, but we should have reloaded back down here. There it is, instantly in, and then we talked about this yesterday with our trade of the day, and that is that off the open, I think it was AMD or something else, off the open, it's just wild. Maybe it was Peloton. It was wild, right? And that's what you get here on Neo, back and forth, back and forth. What happens at the open is not indicative of what's about to happen. You get a lot of marketable orders in there, hedge funds, different algos, just playing different names, trying to find out where liquidity is. But there's the bump back up, and look where we start getting out. So that's 25.10, 25.15. In this area are the pre-market highs. So we always using those kind of levels for areas of concern. So out the first stage there at the 50 period, out as we go up, and then out on the high side. It fades back down, and you can see we get a piece out there, and then we're like, we should have reloaded, comes back up, and we take another 30 cents. That's not where the stock, the opportunities stop here. So let's go back over to the daily. Here's 26, right? So we're like, how far is this name going to go? The futures are up. You know, this is up already 5, 6, 7%. So we try to find some areas of concern, and it basically brings us to 26 bucks. So that's what we did. We let this thing rip all the way up. Remember, when we're in here, it's too choppy. Like, I'm not going long there. Maybe this was a long break, 25.80, but we didn't take it. So There, now, we finally see some chop. And this is where, shout out to Nick on our live show. He asked for some shorts. And I was like, you know what? Why not try this up here at 26.20 or so? So the first short is right there at 26.10, something like that. Look at this drop. Well played all the way to the downside. Out, out, out. Where are we out again? Right into this area. So good outs there. One out, the rest out. 25, 50, 75, hundo, right? Maybe that's another piece out right there. Then we take the short, the same short again. And this is where it's out, 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 out. Not that great there, but again, we have a 20, I think we have like a 24 there, 23, 24 or so. So that's the short out here, like 15, 16 ahead of the 50 period. Then it breaks, and I actually didn't realize I had that order out, but there's the order at 26.05. It does come back down, tanks into this area again. So we go from a long down here into a short. You don't always have to be married to one direction, but I do think it's a good idea to sort of look at the same stocks throughout the day, because if you had a good read on something in the morning, you know, you may be able to find some key levels as well. But just notice, this is like, you know, 70, 80 cents worth of a win. Right now, VWAP is still cruising to the upside, so we're not expecting big wins on the short. It needs to take this down, change trend, and then maybe we'd have a big winner. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. It's Neo, it's your trade of the day, long and short.
Yeah, lots of opportunities coming from the Chinese EV makers and also some of the e-commerce related stocks over in China with big moves this morning off that news as well. Pretty good day right across the board, though, as far as the overall market is concerned. Day highs. In fact, right now, TUP up on a bit of a CNBC bump here this afternoon. So Tupperware moving around. We'll talk about CF Acquisition Corporation as well. That's a watch list, guys. If you're looking for the link, as always, comes out every morning just before we come on at 8:30. Has everything you need to know about what is going on in the pre-market. As I mentioned, we'll talk about CF Acquisition Corporation, the Rumble SPAC getting hit back to the downside this afternoon on this headline. Media reports, quote unquote media reports coming out suggesting that Joe Rogan has in fact said, yeah, pass to Rumble on their offer earlier this week to come over to their platform for $100 million over 4 years. So to be expected at some point, I think here, guys.
Yeah, look, obviously, at some point there was going to be a response from Rogan to that offer, and in this case, it was a no. And you're going to see it fall. There's probably not any way that you're going to capture that trade unless you happen to be short in CFVI at that moment. I suppose if you happen to have a stop order in case the low of the day got taken out, those are two ways that you could have profited by that trade. So, you know, we went over to this name, and the first thing we just did is, as it was falling and the news came out, well, okay, well, you've already missed on the big drop. The only thing you can really do, and we talked about this with DWAC the other day when it fell, is you can wait for a turn and try to catch a short if it bounces. You can try to pick a little bit of bottom. On the 15-minute, it doesn't look like it turned here, but it bounced right at $14. Yesterday's low, bottom wick in yesterday, so it bounced at $14. Simply got along in front of it, and then it turned around at $14.60. And like I said, the other thing you can do is look for a short. That would have taken you almost, I mean, I thought it was going to get a little bit tighter into 13 even. Then it goes right to the previous day's opening range bottom at 13.29, and now it's bouncing once again. Having some trouble at that previous 14 level, going back and forth here. So, you know, that what was support could turn into resistance. If it takes 14 again, it would structure a bit of a short. But this is more just reacting to the snap news here. Yeah, Rogan saying no. I guess it's not terribly surprising. They had to shoot their shot. It made a lot of sense for them, for Rumble to take a shot at Rogan and courting Rogan. And you know, ultimately, it's going to have to settle down in the next couple of days because some of this upside was because of that offer and the potential of nabbing someone like a Rogan to their platform. It didn't happen. It's actually leveling off right here with volume tapering off. So it looks like the buyers have decided for now to defend 14.
Yeah, so we were in that and we got out of that when it broke that 1580, so we didn't actually do anything with it from there. So that is Rumble. And again, I like that, and I agree, man. I think it was well worth taking the shot. A new position that we're in right now is going to be Palantir. We tried it earlier, made some money on the high of the day there, then it gave some back as we took down some VWAPs, or sorry, the 50 period. But Palantir right now, I'm hoping that it's going to break out. We'll see. It's kind of already breaking out here on Palantir. I don't expect much to happen in the afternoon, but you know, you never know. The markets are humming right now, up that 1.8 0.686%, but there's Palantir just trying to go. I mean, we've already broken out. The last time we bought Palantir was at 12.05, so it's been good rebuy for us on that as far as the longer term accounts are concerned. But right now, let's just continue to watch Palantir here. The out is going to be right here, guys. If we take back, well, we'll average in one time, and then if we take the 50 period again, we're out on this one. But Palantir right now on really no volume. That's the main problem. So average back to like 68, something like that, probably 68, and then we'll use 65 as our out. But that's Palantir, new position long. We have Ford. We have lots to talk about.
Just seeing, I mentioned Tupperware, guys. We might as well have a look at this because it was Bill Miller, value investor Bill Miller on CNBC talking up Tupperware. I mean, this thing barely traded today, just kind of grinding along 16. And then he says there's more value in this than is currently being projected. So goes from 16 to 18.5 on the CNBC lunchtime bump.
Yeah, the thing about, I don't know, we've seen that CNBC bump before, and most times when you get that bump, quite frankly, it comes back. So it got to 17, there was really no pullback, and it just started grinding higher. And I was, you know, when it did happen, I was sort of looking for any kind of a retracement. Maybe you can buy the dip, something along those lines. And all it's doing is grinding and grinding higher. I don't think there's really much, like it's such a linear trend now that either it shows you a turn, shows you a consolidation, or gets to like 1950. I mean, it's sort of off to the races here. The volume's okay, but that is about as orderly a move up as you're going to see. I mean, the other day when Arun was talking about that Bill stock, that's kind of what it looks like. And that's not what you're used to seeing when you get a bump like this on that type of a story. So, I mean, 1950 is like $1 away, and I don't know what you do with it until it gets to 1950 or provides you with a curl. It's too high to be buying here. The volume is already dead. Another name that just popped up there, Vinco Ventures. I did actually just get into this. I'll maybe go show you guys a 15-minute chart as to why. There's a daily chart. You can kind of see a bit of a level at 360, but if you pop to 15-minute, this is the previous high last week at 360. It spiked up here, got to 55. And then this setup kind of is an interesting one because you make a high, and if you go back, you know, on the second, this is the 355 high. Everyone thinks, okay, it made a top at 55. There's your breakout, but it breaks out right into this 360 level, which then makes it a short off of 360. Anybody that actually takes that long trade, well, wait for 360 to break. So just a quick retracement style trade there. If it breaks that, going to get out pretty much in exactly the same thing in Intel, which is right at the $50 level. And the NASDAQ is right at just breaking the 1500. So you're at these highs in the market. Intel 50 even, that's a pretty easy stop. 50 breaks, going to be out of that. And same thing with Vinco here. That breaks 360, I'll be out of it. But Tupperware, not much to do unless it drops back to 17 or gets a push to 1950 in my opinion.
All right, I didn't look at Tupperware, but PayPal I've been looking at. Again, we dumped that. Look how well PayPal's doing today, up to 123. We have this very bottom of the day at 120.25. We waited for that again. Sticky Note Nation, what's up to everybody? There you go, out right there, but then it just rips to the high side like mad. What are we talking about, Facebook? Never? Okay, we'll do it now. So here's Meta. What an easy trade this was, honestly, down here today at these pre-market lows. It's just crazy that we wound up getting out at that 50 period of 226, 227. It absolutely took off. I know Arun held that. That's a great trade. We went back and forth here a little bit. Some shorts, some outs, some longs, some outs, and then just back and forth, nothing happening. We tested it at 230, but then it said, hold my beer. Remember yesterday, someone on the chat was like, oh man, how do you like Facebook now when it was down to 217 or 218. I like it just fine, my friend. We're long. We just put that bid on at about 220 or so, 222, something like that. So right now we're in the money. We're not going to obviously count those chickens before they hatch, but Facebook right now off to the races a little bit. A nice move back up to the upside. We're at the highest spot we've been at all day here, holding Ford and holding Palantir. So let's see where we go from here. Ford looks like it's on the board coming up.
Yeah, we'll talk about Ford. I just noticed Bitcoin, guys, back to day highs here as well. Right on cue, this one popped up, BKKT, almost 30% for backed holdings today. Back to day highs. Remember, this is heavily crypto weighted. Their holdings are basically all crypto, but yeah, Bitcoin back to day high. So BKKT, all kinds of volume, 41.6 million shares traded today. It's about 38 million free float, so it's traded its entire float and then some for that backed. I wanted to mention Lyft off of earnings. Earnings, weren't that great, obviously, for Lyft. We got a bit of a negative move right out of the gate, but nice day after all is said and done here for Lyft, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be happy to have not held Lyft. It kind of is what it is. Like, it gave you the 40 trade not at the open, and then it came back sort of bouncing off 39 here. At that particular point, ended up scalping it to 41, and you're going to see it go to 44. And the way I was sort of looking at it was mixed earnings. Uber was coming tonight, who I thought would be better, and then there was no risk off when it just continued to break out. So you're up to 6% here. Their actual active users. Their ride users was not very good. It was a huge disappointment, but then they were able to make more off of each of those rides. So that's what we mean about it being a mixed result. Uber reports tonight. They're looking pretty strong as well. They just broke the 40 level on Uber. Both these names running. I would suspect that very similar to, I'm trying to remember who it was at the high of the day, we're looking previous earnings. Either way, a stock running like this and Uber, anticipating that there could be some volatility. I would expect when you extend like this, Uber might have some kind of a pullback if it's still at the highs in power hour. And then if that were the case, it's a good chance that Lyft could have a sympathy pullback. It's starting to extend a bit further. Just in terms of finding levels on the daily, it would actually have to get a little bit closer to 45 to be a short. You can see that's the obvious resistance. It's a little bit far away to anticipate that it could actually get there. So more likely to be looking at Uber going into the close. But yeah, strong day for Lyft. It was a win, but it's not one that I would categorize as a win because the play should have been to hold on to it a little bit stronger with that report, but got faked out this morning.
All right, we are reloaded here in Palantir. Ooh, I thought we were going to get some 71s there. We're reloaded now in Palantir. We just take a 68 bid there, back up to 71 again. I really hope this name could go, man. We have the high of 72, so that's going to stare us in the face. I like Uber. I think Uber has a good chance today. I think it's going to be, honestly, I think it's going to be all about Disney, but I also do think that if Uber can come out and give some guidance again, I still think that Uber Freight is going to be huge. I never hear anybody talking about that. So that could come out with something today. And like I said, if Uber can beat and make a nice little run, I think you could see 10% tomorrow. I think we could kind of get to that 200 period. And there's a lot of tech names that aren't even at their 50 period moving average. And you could see right here, Uber is. So that's nice. And there's nothing wrong with that. You should be a buyer of Uber down here. The only problem is I never want, unless it's up to your strategy and you're well aware of the risks, I don't think it's wise to take a position in a stock like an Uber, Snapchat, or anything like that where it can go anywhere. It's different if you're going to, play Pepsi or something like that. That's really not going to move. But to take a position in Uber before earnings, unless you really do know something, very, very dangerous name, much more dangerous than a Lyft. So, we'll wait to see what happens. But for me, I think they beat. The chart looks nice. Just like we called Spotify missing. This chart is nicely off the bottom, starting to make some moves to the high side, plus a NASDAQ moving. I like it. I like Uber tonight.
All right, let's go to Ford. Another one having a really nice day after, a week and a half of a downtrend for Ford. It's worth noting as well, GM positive today, even with, as we saw a couple of downgrades, price target cuts for GM in the pre-market. But Ford says they're going to team up with Siemens this morning for customized charging stations for your F-150 Lightning when you order it, guys.
It's always good when you can predict what stock you'll make the most money on, and it actually happens. It doesn't happen that often. But today, off the sticky note, it was the number one name. I came right in, just put down Ford, talked about it. It's breaking above 18 on the EV news from Siemens. You just covered that. Love the long. So there it is right there. We talked about it. And again, I'm sticking my neck out here for you guys every single day on the sticky note. So there it is right there. And by loving the long, I mean 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are all longs. And look at what's happening right now. We are still in this position. And let's wait to see where it goes. But we've loved the Ford long off that 18. And then why did we like it so much? I mean, here it is right here. It should have never broke in the first place, Ford, but it does. And it goes all the way to the downside. Prints out these $18 $18, and then now we're taking 18 back. And I know this is hard to see because let me zoom this in a little bit more. So this is 18 right here. So the minute we took that and we came in and it was just that easy, like to me, I just should have been up infinitely more on this name. It was just a very, very well-structured trade, and that's that. So I'm learning every single day what to do, what not to do. And honestly, when I see it like that, I have to hold a little bit more than what we have right now for the big move, because, scalping it out was great. But again, I remember on their morning show, I was talking about being nervous in this trade. And it's just because we didn't have too many shares, but I got to let that flow down here a little bit if it was going to lose, and we didn't. So again, perfect ins, but not perfect outs as Ford continues its march higher. But hey, I'm a happy guy. It's my number one stock, but could have made more.
Yeah, the one that set up for me, very similar play would have been GM, just sort of in a related space. The problem with GM this morning was the level was sort of, I don't want to say obvious, but you had this failure yesterday at 49 at the open, and then in the afternoon you had 49 support. So that was obviously where I wanted to buy in front of. And then this nonsense happened at 7 o'clock. Like it tested, went right down to 49. Okay, so that's on light volume, however, but it's still $1 worth of a drop, and it's grinding higher, and that's going to put me in the position of thinking, okay, it's probably going to give you a test lower, and so we're sitting on the bid, and then all it did is break out and run, and now you're just going sideways the entire afternoon. Sometimes that pre-market action matters, sometimes it doesn't, but you get a flush like that, and I'm going to anticipate wanting to get it tighter to that level. The way I see it, if I'm buying at 50 right here and giving it to 49, well, you essentially have to execute basically perfectly, because it only goes about $1.50 before it runs into resistance, and that's about 1-to-1. And that's the thing about trying to at least be a little bit patient, because like, it's great, it would have worked out, but then if that's wrong, if you take that trade every single time, the risk to reward ends up a little bit skewed. Would have been nice if I'm not going to take that fill on light volume in the pre-market down here at 49.5 at 8 a.m., but the level was certainly there, so I'm not mad at the trade. I just kind of wish there would have been an opportunity to be able to pick that one up. I just wanted to point out a couple of things. People are talking about AMC a little bit, so I just want to show you, we're not going to, AMC is not actually on the list for us to go over in the rundown. 19 is a monster level. Well, obviously on the 15-minute chart, you can kind of see the last time we got here. Just shy of 19, double top, pull back all the way to 15 bucks, finding support, and then we're here today. Kind of already put in a high at 1872 or so, which is right where it was at the beginning of February at that top. So big level coming up here in AMC. I think it can be played in either direction. I did get first look out on Vinco Ventures. Again, that stop is right at 360. It breaks the high, I'd be out of it. But AMC on tap, maybe it breaks the high today. Although I'm very likely to try a short at least once off 19.
I just saw Disney moving around there, guys. Trader Pat mentioning a bit of a move to the downside for Disney. There's a lot of people coming out with obviously forecasts and expectations for their earnings after market. So just a heads up, if you're going to trade something on earnings day, you can always get those headlines moving them around. Worth mentioning these Chinese EV makers as well, because they had nice recoveries today and actually held higher. So we had a bit of a sell-off right at the open this morning, but both NIO and XPeng, basically holding the top end of the daily range and then end up moving higher on this headline this morning. XPeng shares get included into the Stock Connect program at the Shenzhen Hong Kong Exchange, which basically gives mainland qualified Chinese investors direct access to the company's shares, is what that line basically states. So 5.5% here. Nice look for NIO as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was the trade of the day. We did talk a little bit about NIO there, and we will continue to do it, and I'll do it right now. It's funny when I see notes like this, and shout out to all of our viewers, but it's like, here's from Frank. What's up, Frank? I like Miss V. She always pays attention to the chat. These guys don't. Yeah, that's Miss V's job. So, so thank you, Ms. V, for doing a fantastic job, and thank you to Frank for pointing that out. Frank Salgado, what's up, Frank Salgado? Thank you for that, and we're here to make money and to trade and to entertain, and that's what I just said to Lucas. That's the main reason why I'm here, but let's talk about trading then. Okay, so NEO, good opportunities today for sure. 25 longs, we talked about that. I'm not going to show you the sticky note again. If you're not down to that, then you're not, that's fine. But it was on there, it was right beside Ford as another name that you wanted to go long through at 25. So there it is, there's the long 25, it's at 26 and change. Not much to say there. XPeng, I actually trade better. And I think I probably made more money on NEO over the history. But as far as like being perfect on XPEV, I love XPEV trading, and I should have acknowledged that it went down here and then take that long. I mean, some of these moves are pretty clean and pretty clear. So this was a nice little move to the upside here, kept going 39.50. If you look at a daily chart, there's not much here. You did have some support near 37.38. But again, if you like the stock today, you wouldn't have got at, like, there's so many, and I just see Facebook right now, like up to 233, and I see NEO rallying as well. So it's just like some of these trades you got to hold on to, because when they start to move, they sure as hell start to move. And so I'm learning, like I said, every single day. We pegged out NEO. We took a short here on NEO as well, made that money back and forth. Hard to ignore something. 5.5 million shares and 50 million in volume. So NEO, another great trade here. And again, stick with the sticky note. Stick with our watch list. We have these notes on there every single day. So again, you know, so you're not blind to trading. And thank you for all the love on Twitter.
Yeah, so I mean, XPEG obviously they were the subject of the news. They're up 10%, and they've been leading the pack in China, at least as far as the EV companies that are listed here in the U.S. that are not Tesla, obviously. So we came in and we wanted a 40 break. But I did say, for me personally, on XPEV and all of these EV names, the actual breakout trade has not been a high percentage winner for me. So yeah, 40 was a good level, and it gave you a $1 win. But what I was looking for was you get that snap top, it goes up to 41, instant rejection, and then was looking for a trend reversal. And then when it got to the bottom in the pre-market, it was about 39.5. There was a nice consolidation, took the short on this trade. It could have been scalped, but then again, you got to follow your rules here, right? So this scalp trade, when it breaks this on a failure, I'm not looking for it to go 20 or 30 cents or 40 cents. In that particular case, I'm looking for it to fill the gap back into about 38. And I actually was ready to reverse into a long if it got down to 37 even. So all we do is we take the short, we give it almost the full buck, it breaks back above 40, and you can see it reverses right back in. So it's in, it's out. In that case, the scalp trade would have worked, but it's not necessarily about that. It's about what is the setup that you're looking to accomplish, and like what is the return you're looking for? What style of trade is it going to be? Never meant to be a scalp trade. Was look to be a trend reversal where we can get an extension through on a gap fill. In this case, it doesn't work out, but I always chalk it up to, did you follow your rules or did you not? In this case, we did. And just to come back to one other name here, because the market's still going, AMC did pull. It did pull back a little bit. Just had not really a dump, but it just had a bit of a pullback. Look at what happened last time it got to $18. Like all afternoon, since about noon, it's just been sitting at that 18 level. So as it pulls back into 18, if there's anything on the bid, it's going to be worth like a quick little defense of that, you know, like 3s, 4s, and 5s if you can find any kind of bid with a tight stop. Just the way that it behaved at that price makes it worth it.
Just having a look at McDonald's, no real significant response to this yet, but we are starting to tick up a little bit here. Positive, anyways, for MCD shares this afternoon. Carl Quintanilla saying it looks like McDonald's has filed 10 patent trademarks for indication of a virtual cafe and a virtual restaurant and virtual goods even in the metaverse, guys. So get ready for McDonald's coming to your local friendly neighborhood metaverse or a local friendly neighborhood metaverse near you. Do we want to talk about CGC here, guys? That was the big mover this morning off of earnings. Very, very strong for Canopy growth. We haven't had some cannabis to discuss lately.
Sure, yeah, we can discuss cannabis, and it was pretty good today. We talked about that on the sticky note. Is again, like every name we have on there, we only have 5 names on there, but it seems like it's all these. Yeah, so here we go. We made money on CGC today. It was a decent stock, but again, we tried one. So again, we tried to short again there. Failed, and then just back and forth with too many shares. So right there, it does touch 9. I was hoping that we would touch 10 today on a big move, and then I could really get aggressive on the short, but here it is, comes right up, and I think we had this, we had this on the morning show, 10:20, and it just collapsed. So, I mean, we put on our full position right here. We had to stop right up here, and then we acknowledged that right here. So a nice short into it, bang to the downside, tried it again here, didn't work and got out. So, and again, you know, Neil says, we talk about process. If it works, it works. And I mean, this is the thing, like I've back tested, I've looked at a lot of these trades, like I'm sure a lot of you have. And I mean, that to me, you know, you see this trade, that's 856. You know, the majority of the outs are down here. That's 20 plus pennies. Here's the short again at 860, and there's the out at 867 on that break. So 7 penny loss right there. Meanwhile, the first take was 7 pennies. So that's back and forth. The reason why we said 10 bucks, I mean, I can't look at a 20 period, but if we zoom this in, it's just right here. I mean, it's just it was just a mental level of 10. Like people like to, you know, trade around that, kind of like that 230 on Facebook, the 220 on Facebook. So we're doing the same thing here with CGC. We're trying to give this some breath, some room to move higher. Maybe to be more exact, maybe 950, 975. I don't think we're going to get there today, but I would just fade all these moves. And you'll see tomorrow. We'll come back tomorrow. Look, I hope it's up. I mean, I'm a shareholder of CGC, so I hope it's up. I've been recommending CGC if you wanted to get some marijuana plays, but we haven't even looked at this in a year or more. So it's just been absolutely crushed all the way to the downside. I can't support these until we get the federales there, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Although, you know, it's always great when people run on a certain platform like Kamala Harris, and then gets absolutely nothing done. So absolutely fantastic. Thanks, Kamala, for that one. Anybody holding the bag on weed stocks, you know, you probably do have some kind of hatred to all the governments. I mean, nothing's been done federally on cannabis. So that's been disappointing. And until that happens, I don't even think I'll be looking at them at all, just holding the bag on what I have.
Yeah, I mean, anytime there's news on one of these, it's just, if there's a 10% move in Sundial, I'm going to look at it every single time. The trade was relatively simple. It was up 10%. 56 was a pre-market high. I shorted at 55. It hit 53 and then ran. Stopped out at 50. Once it stopped out at 56, I wasn't even touching it, and for good reason. Just look at it barcode. I kind of said 58 this morning was going to be some resistance, and look at it. It's now just holding that 56 to 58, so nothing really to see here. Kind of disappointing because, you know, usually when there's news in the space, Sundial's actually a good stock to day trade. Today, not so much, unless you happen to catch the bottom and hold it. I don't know why you would have been long here, but if you happen to, maybe it's going to be in the midst of a possible break. One thing that we have talked about is when you get consolidation at the bottom and then a clean breakout, you can really start to go. I don't know that you call it a clean break, and maybe it gets past 60. Like, there's just so much chop at these levels that it's hard to say that Sundial's really breaking back out unless it takes out 70 on the way to $1. So they just got an extension, so they're going to stay. You're under $1 for too long. You need to get an extension. You get delisted. They got an extension for that. So not under immediate threat with regards to that, but you know, usually a pretty good sympathy play there. Not a heck of a lot to see with it here today on Sundial.
Inflation remains the hot topic of not only this week, but heck, the entire year so far. In this video, we're going to talk a little bit about where you should go while inflation remains high. Guys, we are recording this before the CPI data comes out this week. We'll get that on Thursday. But let's jump into a little bit of forward thinking here, guys, and talk a little bit about, okay, we know what's expected, more inflation, higher inflation and higher interest rates as a result. Where do we go as far as putting our money to work in this environment?
So, I mean, the first thing to think about is what happens when you get higher inflation, right? So, obviously, the stock market's trying to price earnings in the future, and you're going to compress multiples, essentially, right? You get higher rates, that's going to change. It's going to change the outlook for those future earnings. So you want something that is not trading too expensive. But the other side of it too, which I think is the most simple way to look at it, and you're going to see me pull up Pepsi, so it's kind of obvious what I'm about to say here, but you want something that has pricing power. And what that simply means is, as input costs go up, can this company pass those along to the consumer and still continue to make money? Are they still going to have the same level of growth? Are they still going to have the same amount of revenue, sales, those types of things? And if you find something that has a good brand that might be steady and might be boring, then yes, I think they're going to be able to accomplish that. The other thing to consider, of course, is what space is it going to be in? Like I say, Pepsi in the consumer durables, but there are certainly other sectors which will do traditionally better in high interest rate environments, and that's going to be like energy is going to do pretty well there. So you could always just say any of those. But within each space, so I like Pepsi, I like consumer durables. That's obviously one place to go. But the other thing you got to consider too is within any space that you're heavily invested in, consider something you like that maybe doesn't have too expensive of a multiple. If it's super expensive, even if you like them, they're going to be under pressure, especially if you get a more rapid raising of rates there. So, you always have to keep that in mind. Pepsi's a name that I've liked. I do think that because the fear of inflation has been around for the last 6 months or so, something like this has made a bit of a nice run and been breaking out. And as a matter of fact, there's been some profit taking at the high, but there's still opportunities to be had in this environment because we are getting multiple hikes this year.
All right, none of this has to be rocket science, so let's just make it as easy as possible. Berkshire, I mean, I honestly think, like, we're doing this as an evergreen. I think you can buy Google and stuff like that have huge cash positions and have a business that is basically untouchable besides any sort of a regulation. But if we're going to just play the obvious cards here, let's just go with Berkshire. I mean, what they hold, the same kind of stuff, man. Verizon, Coca-Cola. Here we go. I have this up here. I was talking about this today. Look, it's 42% weight in Apple right now. I mean, I could pick Apple for you. Look at American Express. I called American Express 2 weeks ago before earnings that was going to be a monster. BAC, get BAC in there. Get Coke, get Verizon, get all these names, man. They're all here. Get GM, get a little Visa action, get a little Chevron action. There's my AbbVie down there as well. So these are all high quality companies. Many of them, if not all of them, and I'll have to double check it, so don't quote me on all, but paying dividends. You just take Berkshire, and that's that. Look at how well this is done all year. Like Berkshire right here, from the beginning of the year, we all knew that at some point, and even if you just say, hey, you know when this Fed started turning hawkish, was right in here, right around Thanksgiving-ish in the US, which is this November 30th number. Obviously, we had Omicron and we had a bunch of different things happening, but look at this. Since we started talking about inflation, this thing has just ripped up to the high side and continues to take out highs. So for me, Brendan, it is so simple and it's just so easy, but I'm gonna go with it and I'm gonna tap out and I'm gonna say, go with Berkshire.
I love that. If you want some interesting reading, guys, take a second and look up how many shares Berkshire owns of Apple, and then do some quick math on just the dividend payment that's going to go from Apple to Berkshire this year. It's just, it'll blow your mind.
Brad, you know what they say, don't mean to interrupt, but they say every time you sell Apple shares, it's going to one of three people.
Yep.
The first one is the SPY. It's going into every person that's managing or buying an index fund every time you sell Apple. Or it's going to Warren Buffett. Or it's going to Apple. That's it. They have the best buyback there. It's the best name. Continue to buy Apple. Thanks for that little interruption.
Yeah, 908 million shares currently owned by Berkshire Hathaway. Amazing. Pepsi as well. Great idea. There's a little look, guys, at where to go in a high inflationary environment. Just saw this one pop up. CPSS up 21% today, which is Consumer Portfolio Services. Just made a day high there on a volume spike. There's not much in the way of any kind of significant news on this. There was a debt re-up they announced earlier in the week, but nice looking daily chart. Another one starting to go here this afternoon, CPSS.
I'm definitely going to add that to the list. One that's trying to go again, this DCFC, which was a bit of a runner earlier this morning. It's still up 82%. It has pulled back. It just bounced off 16 a couple of times. If this gets any closer to that $20 level up top, it was a fade up there before it got to 1975. I think it can be a fade again. A couple of times, I see Cavus in the chat asking about end phase. I will go over it. I'm not in end phase anymore. We did get that long. We said we'd come back to it if it made a nice round off, and it did at 155. It then put in the higher low right at that 157 level we were talking about in the morning. It took a while to get there, and when it turned at 161, I put a trail in and got out of it. So we ended up taking the win. I just don't see a trade in the afternoon on this thing. Like, just to go to a higher time frame so you can kind of see what we're looking at here. Your support's all the way back at 155. You can maybe take it off that 57 to 60 area again, but that's a good $5 or $6 away. It's now trying to grind back up. It's just such a wide gap, right? Like, you had this gap from 145 all the way up to a 180, and as it broke the low, the only thing to hang on to that I could find was simply going back to the daily chart and looking at a previous high, and figured if buying came in at that price, you might get some price acceptance, just because that's where it rejected and sort of held resistance before. That ends up happening a little bit later on in the session, and sometimes when you're catching bottoms on a name which has momentum, it has almost more to do with the amount of time in the morning as it does how far it's going to fall off. But I don't really see any awesome opportunities with end phase unless you're already in it. You can be holding that long trade, but I don't really see any entry points at this point.
Are we still on topics, or we're going crazy here? Palantir, I didn't trade end phase today. Palantir, just so you guys know, we are long at 68. You can see here getting some out now, 75s, starting to go. It's an average price that we've had right here, taking out the top 4.5% as we still watch that name go. And someone said that Berkshire, NU is back to the IPO price. I see you there, John. Thank you to Phil as well, member for 7 months. I saw you there quickly. Thank you for the nice words on the chat as well. And so here's this is New Bank, I believe it's called. Let me get the exact name here before I talk about this. New Holdings. Okay, so there it is. So nice little move back here. It's been a nasty little trade since its IPO. I believe the IPO was 1050. We had this problem yesterday with our charts on that, but a nice day today, up 25 million shares. Remember, it was an IPO, and I don't believe this is a low float one. This was heralded as the SoFi of Latin America, but you don't really want to be the SoFi of anything, because the SoFi of something has been a negative return for shareholders for sure, unless there's some way you only got involved in the last 2 weeks. SoFi's been an absolute nightmare to the downside. I still like it here. I cannot believe I didn't get out up there. I talked about it. Just like we were able to get out of DraftKings at 60, we didn't get out of SoFi here. And just like we were able to get a Coinbase at 360, not SoFi. I still like it though. I think it's going to obviously have to take probably 6 to 8 months before we just really start to develop a business and they get through a couple quarters and whatnot. So if that's my thought there for SoFi, of course, NY is there for NU is on NY. So right there, if that's going to be the thought, then I feel like we may get a bounce back here. And again, I really apologize for that. I don't know what's going on with this candle. We never got to $54 on this stock. But, if we can get back to like this $12 area, I think you're doing pretty good. So if you're long down here, look, this went to $6. So like you're already in the money now, 50% plus on this trade. So from 6 to 10, you're going to see that's more than that. That's 55%. So I think if you can get back to $12 and you're long anywhere like sub 10, you may want to get out of this one. So I don't trust it, but there we go. Thanks for bringing it up. The Playmaker. Okay, I see you, Playmaker there. Gets in at 12 and gets out at 12.57. So good trade there for SoFi, and I think that's what you might have to do. You may have to scalp this as we go. It's still well below the 50 period, but it might turn up here once we cross that. So $14, I like that as a buy for SoFi.
Yeah, get your 5 points. Why not? There's nothing wrong with taking that profit. You mentioned Berkshire Hathaway, and you Buffett backed. So we get to mention Warren Buffett twice in. Well, not 1 hour, but I guess it is the first hour right now. AMC, because obviously it doesn't actually get to that $18 level we're looking at. I'm still going to have my bid down just in case. I mean, it was such good support. I'll have my bid right back down there again, but you kind of see what happened. It got right down to about 18.12. I was sitting at 18.06. So it turns in front of 10. I was looking at 05s, and it goes right back to the top. This is 1850. That 19 level still very much in play up at that high, which I do plan to be involved in. When it gets there, I'll go short. I'll reverse it if it takes out 19 even. But AMC in play, up 12% on the day. It was a monster. Like you had to hold it through the bottom, but it held that 16 level and has been just screaming to the upside. And every dollar has kind of had that support. Like it got to 17, it consolidated for a while, it broke out, and then at 18, you're basically seeing the same level of support the entire afternoon. But AMC going to be firmly in play for us here.
Let's get the likes going, guys. We need the likes up there. If you can, hit the likes, please, and thank you. Turn that little thumb upside down or turn into a color or whatever it is there on your screen. So, okay, Facebook still 232. Yeah, you have AMC up. I love this break at 1850, so we're going to go long if it does break 1850 right there on AMC, and then see what happens if it does retest the day's high. We're above the 50 period now, so I'm happy with that. I have an out. If it doesn't work, it's right here. So we are going to punch our ticket long through 1850. So that's that call. Like if it comes back down here to 18, then I actually would sort of like a short into that. So we'll see. And again, you know, you're not going to trade AMC for 5 or 6 cents. You might, if you have the share size, but AMC does have a lot of opportunities here, so let's wait to see. I don't think it's out of question for sure that we take out that 1870, so let's try it. We'll get in here at 1850 break, and then we'll try to hold for the high of the day. That's 20 cents, so we need at least 20 cents because my out's going to be 30. So, 1-to-1, I'm happy with that on AMC, so let's see if that works for us on that one. Palantir still going up. We don't have any outs for this one until it gets to 80, or I'm sitting at 79, so we'll take a 79 out on Palantir as that's continuing to work. We only have one red name today, and it's actually CFVI on the day. So one red stock today. We have over 260 fills, but some of those, yeah, they're not all. Like we have about 150 fills. So here we go, CFVI. We tried the run here at 16.15. We talked about that on the 16 break, and then, well, no, I guess 16, not 15, 16 break. And then we got out for 14-cent hit, and then I told you we would average in right there. We tried it. We got out. We thought maybe that was the bottom. We took it again, and then we got out right there. But you're going to notice these cuts. Like, that's 14 cents. That's 30 cents, and then about another 40 cents right there. So we tried it on CFVI. Obviously, the Rogan news comes out. He denies it. I still think there's something there. If it's not Rogan, it's something else. Doesn't really matter to me. I'm not in this right now, but I can't blame anybody for this 1440. I'm going to go long here on this. If we break 1440, I'm going long on CFVI right now. I'm going to just like go back into the well. We're cruising right now. Forward 30 cents. Palantir making moves upside. Let's try this again here. 1440 long on CFVI.
I saw someone mention ISPC in the chat, and the second I pulled it up, yes, it's moving. It broke 5, and it's kind of slightly up on not that much volume, but there was just somebody on the bid for multiple 20,000 share orders that took fills, and then there was just a 50,000 share bid that was sticking it, stuck it on the bid. And the second they got even like a little bit filled, they pulled it. So I'm not saying there's shenanigans going on, but there were shenanigans on the bid of this stock, and you're seeing it pull back here. So just be careful, especially on names that are like, oh my goodness, like right there. Like they just put stacked 16,000 bids again, trying to push the stock up. So you see this happen. It happened this morning, and I forget the name where it happened in the pre-market, but then the key thing is it's done 500,000 shares. Is somebody really going to put like 50,000 orders, 16,000 a piece on multiple gateways at the same price level when the stock is only done 500,000 shares? No, that's 10% of the day's volume. That makes absolutely no sense. And that's why, you want to be careful trading around those. You got to know when it's fake and you got to know when it's real. That's absolutely like fugazi. DCFC is making some moves back in. If it were to take out 16 even, I know some people were talking about they were short already. If this were to take out 16, it still has all of these first halt support levels to get through at 1530. So there's a long way away from this on actually capitulating, although it did put one in here at the top. At 20 even, I still think it can catch another bid there. So I wouldn't be rushing into it. Intel just seems to be determined to do nothing at this 50 level, as it's now barcoding right in front of $50. There was size there before, not a ton right now, but keep in mind the NASDAQ is right at 15,000, trying to decide which way it's going to go. So you might not have any movement until we break away from 15,000 on the NASDAQ, but the stop is pretty simple. It's at 50 even. I'm short at 85, so risking 15 cents in slippage.
What's up?
I'll take it. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Apple fritter.
You know what's an apple fritter? That's cold. That's cold, man.
Bro, we went for a walk 2 days ago. Who got the coffees?
I'll tell you what.
All right.
I'm gonna just enjoy this right now.
Banned. All right. So we are now short Intel. We are now short Intel right here. 49.94 on Intel. So I'll play that. Although I do think it breaks. Hey man, we're gonna hit this and see what does happen right now. I'm just giving Justin a hard time, of course.
Problem is
1460. Yeah, I have some napkins if you don't. Okay, so there it is. So new position alert. We are in it. So we'll go, oh my God, as we are into CFVI right now. And there it goes all the way to the upside. So we'll wait now. We can make this all back. It doesn't even need to go that far for us to make it back. If we can get a 15 on this, then I think we'll take it. But right now, new position alert into CFVI, into Intel, into Ford, into Palantir. So right now, we're going to try to go. And you're right. It doesn't matter if you go perfect. It doesn't matter. But we're going to see if we can make it back here. The only red name that we have on the board today is going to be CFVI. And let's just see what happens. It needs to take out this 50, obviously. I'm going to put an order at this 1490-ish and see what happens right there. So that's going to be a play for me, 1490 on CFVI.
Of course, these guys are going to catch me doing that. I might need to steal one of those napkins, by the way. Thanks, John. See, nice and considerate while you guys are trying to like get me on camera eating. Anyways, I was actually just on CFVI as well. The only thing I wanted to quickly point out was when it did bounce the first time, there was this 1470, like someone just sat there in front of 75s and it turned around at that price. So maybe it happens again. I have absolutely no idea. But as the market is trying to make its decision at a key price level, another name which is right back at a key price level is CCL. Took a short in front of 23, essentially had a 90 average short, got out right when it broke 23. So risk about 10 cents to try and make 30 to 40 in that case. But look where CCL still is. It gets easier to see on the daily chart. I'll zoom in on the daily so you guys can see better. This is that high. Like it actually recently broke 23, got to the quarters and faded. The 50 period sits here, right here at 45. So you have another name which is right in the decision cluster, right here, the top being 35. You're about 10 cents worth of risk from this level. And you know, it's one of those situations. You're either sitting in longs that are at the highs, or you're looking for pullbacks. So it's kind of like when you have a trending market, when we talk about that bill stock. If you can structure some of these trades here, the risk to reward is just going to be set up pretty nicely. It's a name that was in play for me already. That's why I wanted to get into CCL, because I already knew the levels that I was looking to capture. I really don't want to chase this too far because I want an average between 25 and 30, so I'm not going to be selling too many shares below between 20 and 25. But I'm going to pop in the offer. Stops at the high of the day. Relatively simple idea there, so we'll go with CCL. It is a high on the daily chart as well, so it's not just a double top in today's action. That's also a level resisted on the daily.
All right, so we are going to just cash out a little bit here because I do think that Intel probably breaks, but let's just see what happens here on that. We'll ring the register a little bit here on Intel, take that 5 pennies there, and then just see where we go on that. So I don't know. Hopefully it comes back to the downside. We are waiting in the 80s again. And if I can get something here, like even 80 clean would be pretty good. But let's just wait to see on that one. We've been getting out of our Palantir. It got as high there as 78. Our best offer was 79. We never got filled there. But we're just taking some fills on the way down as we are looking like it wants to crack through here. I'm going to change the stop order now to just below 70 instead of 65 so that we always make sure that we have some love for the Palantir stop order, that's for sure. Okay, so CFVI goes up, and then so we were in the money 20 cents, but that's fine. We're not taking that. If it breaks back down below 14, then that will be the target there. So enough about CFVI. I mean, right now we are offering 90s, so we're offering right up there. So if that does come through, then absolutely that's where we're going for. I think Disney has a good chance. We talked about that tonight. The only thing about Disney is it's ripping pretty nicely today into the print, which gives me pause a little bit, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, a lot of the time when everybody's thinking one way, like they were on Facebook, for example, there on Facebook, you guys remember that stock? Everybody was thinking long. We talked about how they were 45 of 50 analysts had buys on Facebook, 45 of 50. It's insane. So I'm thinking that Disney probably has a lot of people thinking that it's going to be a good number. Some of the things that I'm thinking about here, I believe they will increase the price on Disney Plus, like Amazon did, like Netflix did as well. So we'll see if that happens. That should create a little bit of a spike. And then I want to see what they're going to do with Hulu. I think they could spin off ESPN if they wanted to. That's something to talk about. And they could talk about the reinstatement of the dividend, but I don't think that would be a good idea. So if they say that, then I think that's a sell spot. But we'll see. Up 3.5% today. I'm glad, so glad. Like, we sniffed out Disney earnings up here last time, and we were able to get out at 180 before this happened. So again, I don't have the same feels today. I feel like it should be okay. Encanto is rocking right now. And if you talk about Bruno on the conference call, then there might be a problem. But I feel like they won't be talking about Bruno. So let's see what happens. And I like Disney to the upside there. There goes Palantir back through 74, 75. We got a piece out there. Intel, we did get a little bit of a piece out more on Intel there, as you can see. So some outs there in the 80s for INTC.
And shout out to, I think it's T.I. Bryant there. Next, rum and raisin ice cream. Oh my goodness. Like, how did you just shout out the greatest ice cream of all time? It absolutely is. Just my opinion. There's actually a great shop in Antigua where my family is from, and they have the best that you will ever taste in your entire life, and it's right by the beach. Perfect way to enjoy ice cream, I think. Backed, I'm going to go back to backed. I am 1 for 2 on backed, and I'm kind of wondering why I didn't actually try a long break at this 720 level, but I didn't, so it is what it is. We shorted off of 720, that worked, and then it did not work when we shorted off of 750, but it has a triple top at 775, so again, the risk to reward gives me 10 cents worth of risk plus slippage, and then we can work it. Even if it doesn't get down to VWAP, like that's right there, down about like 10, 20 to 30 cents, so I am back into backed. It just said that a third time there. And as Sean mentioned, when everyone's thinking one way, it can go the other. The other example that, remember Amazon? Everybody also was incredibly afraid of the potential, missed earnings on Amazon. There was a lot of fear going into that FANG name. And then, of course, when they had a good report, you saw how they ran. And it wasn't even that great a report, really, when you looked at it. Brendo?
Another one moving here. QNST was down sharply in the pre-market here on earnings, but just trying to break back above resistance. Not a huge mover, but QNST just popping up on volume.
I did not change my Palantir stop order, so let's do that. We just got some more out there at 75 again as it went to the downside, or it's going now to the downside. But again, we are short, so I'm just like, this is why I'm short Intel right now, right? I mean, we have some kind of protection against the market going to the downside, and there it is, man. Another 7 cents now in the money on Intel. So nice move. Down here as we go down to the downside right here. So let's wait to see VIX now sub 20. So the VIX is starting to come back in. If you did want to, we can look at VXX. It's not going to be the right VIX, but maybe
the chart's still.
Maybe this is okay. Yeah, so maybe it's okay for us. You could see that right here, the market, in the last little while was going crazy, and the VIX is a fear indicator. All of us were very fearful of said market, but now it's coming back down almost near a buying spot. If you are a VIX trader right now, you can have a look at that. All right, so the CFVI again, don't hold me on that. We'll see if that hits 14. Neil just said, here comes AMC. I don't know what to the downside.
I'm just gonna buy 10s. This is stupid.
Yeah.
Like it got the exact. It was stupid. Like I was sitting at 6 again. And then it came right down here, got to 7, and then turned. So I just punched it at 10. It's 3 cents when my stop is going to be right below this 18 level. Actually, 17.95. That's where the stop is going to be. It's right below where this entire level has been supported all afternoon. And if it catches a bit of a bounce, great. It's the only long I have on. Everything else is essentially basically the same setup. Short off highs of the day, double tops, triple tops, levels on the daily. I will scout this into that 1850. Obviously, you have a lower high double top 1850, so I'm risking 15 cents. I'm going to try and take some out in front of that. Obviously, AMC has been pretty strong, but that's maybe one of the biggest moves that's pulled back in there. So you want to make sure you have a stop if you're day trading. If you want to hold on forever, not our style here. We're flat at the end of the day. BBIG, that's Vinco Ventures. I never actually say BBIG. It's got some buying at 345. I'm not really taking anything out at that level. I've already scalped some there. If it breaks this, I'm getting some in front of 340, and then VWAP is the target. Intel, that's basically back to flat for me. CCL, which we just got into as well, in front of that high of the day, it's starting to slide back down. Realistically, the NASDAQ just retook 1,500. Until it accelerates, I'm not sure any of these are home runs. I'm not bidding CCL yet. I'm likely to throw something in front of that 10 level because it's VWAP, and then 23. If it was a level on the way up, I expect it to be a level on the way down. So only long is going to be AMC, which we just got into right now. And check some other names. Looks like I just got a fill on back. I'll be pretty happy about that one. Like I said, one of the things I wanted to do better this year was finding, if you get a good level for a stop, for a long consolidation, I should be reversing it, and backed 100% qualified. It gave you this at about 660, but then this top here that I was shorting off of 725, that should have been a breakout long. You can see it retest here, go like 7 cents against the 725 long, and my immediate inclination was to go short. Like, how dumb is that, right? Like, this was your stop level, it breaks it clean, runs up, and then the second it holds here, basically not even against any longs, that's not a short entry. Forget about it. If anything, that's a place that you can still get into that long trade. And as you can see, it didn't work, right? Like, where are the shorts that worked? When you actually get it off of a confirmed level. It's not a coincidence, but you know, sometimes you break a rule, you go against what you know is to be right because you get caught up in the moment. I had just taken a hit, and a couple of minutes later, I'm making a mistake, you know, just after that. But this is a different trade. Some out in front of 750. Next leg down here, 737. If 25 holds again, I'll probably get it all out there, but I do expect if the market rolls over, you could breach that 725 and get back into VWAP. So that would be the ultimate target, as Power Hour is a go.
Yes, and let's spin the money, because there it is, man. One in on Intel and a lot of outs. So, and when you have such an obvious out like 50 there, you can really share size up. So, you know, that's why we have multiple outs there to the Dow. I want to hold this like targets, like, I mean, I guess if the market keeps falling, who knows where these targets are? Maybe 49.50, maybe something like that. But we've already taken like infinitely more on the risk versus reward on this one, right? Like, if I'm holding this stock, like, again, just to talk about some of the education, because I think that's what we do the best here anyways, hopefully besides trading. I mean, we do a good job at trading, I feel like. But you could see here, you know, for me, short 94, the risk plus slippage is like 7 cents. So right now, we're in the money 15 cents. So, you know, the first couple takes down here made the money. Now we're still in 40% of this. Let's let the rest of this fall back down. If we have some bids here, 49.70, I guess we could put a bid at and see if that hits. So that's going to be my next little look there for Intel, is that level. And then honestly, Ford, I mean, we couldn't have predicted the market dropping like this, but I am pretty happy with Ford holding up. I'm not going to punch a ticket long again until we break 1835, which we might do right there. But again, like, how much risk is there? Like, why am I going to go long 1835 when really, I mean, it's been stopped at 1840. So that's like 5 cents there. It's just, it's not worth the risk, in my opinion, on this Ford trade. So let's just hold what we have. If it does come back in a lot, then we'll buy it. But for right now, Ford continues to make a move to the upside. And just a shout out to you, Justin. We're just going back and forth here, laughing about a few things. So shout out to you, Justin, man. All good. It's probably better I don't have any donuts, if you know what I'm saying. So,
I don't know, man.
I love the apple fritter, though.
You need like a wet nap. That's the problem. Like, it's sugar coated, right? So, like, obviously, it's pretty sticky.
Yeah. He set you up, bro.
He definitely did. Now I've got a messy keyboard. But anyways, who cares, man? It's all in good fun. Someone had asked about SOPA, and if there was more to talk about, I would. So we waited till it was in a couple of positions and things are settling down a little bit as the market's picking a bit of a direction here. They had the offering. You got to watch out for these because, like, whatever, man. Like, the stock gaps up on no news, and then like a day later after making a big top, you get an offering, it gets flushed. It's making some kind of a comeback, but in perspective, it's just right back to where this was a couple of days ago. So it's to say that it's well received, the offering, only because it was so far down and it caught a bit of a bottom at $3. But we're kind of trending back towards that and doing nothing volume-wise. It was one little spike here, but when you put it in perspective, still a bit of a disappointing name for anyone that got caught in that. And that's one of the risks of some of these small caps. Like, be careful when they go up without a catalyst, because sometimes it's an opportunity for some of these companies to raise funds, and if you get caught in a swing buying at the top, you get burned. Like, I'd hate to see anyone long at like 6 on this when it was up on no news, and now it's doing nothing. Brendo?
The market, as we've seen in the past couple of weeks, coming off pretty hard here, guys, the futures anyways. VUZIX, VUZI, was up here this afternoon on some European expansion plans, but another one I just noticed coming all the way back into this support level or resistance level from earlier. Should be support anyways, but yeah, here we go again. Some selling coming back in.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Neil's got the baby wipes.
I'm like, I'll take it. Like, Mark does everything. First of all, he lives on the ladder, and then all of a sudden he comes by with the wipes. My hands were, like, it was crazy. They were pretty sticky. So thank you there. By the way, like, those desks are pretty much almost done. Like, the monitors are in, like, we got everything almost set up. It's going to be a heck of a lot of fun when we get this finished, and we got, both cockpits sitting here and, trading right next to Trader Brad.
You call the cockpit, bro. I've already been down this road. Hey, I ain't never calling it a cockpit.
You can say whatever you want, man.
Yeah, you can. You sure can.
I got no problem with it. You know what the term is, man. I call it the Millennium Falcon like it is. I didn't get out of it.
You can call it the Millennium Falcon.
I didn't get any of, you know why I say that? Because if you look at the shot in the movie, in the Millennium Falcon, like the buddy shot, the one you guys were just on, that's the movie shot. And then in the back, you'd have Chewie doing his thing. We don't have Chewie. But Intel, I just got the first leg out for me at 75. The next bid's in front of 60, and then 50 would be the next one down there. AMC hasn't gone enough to ring the register just yet, but the same way on the way up, like I'm sitting in front of quarters here. So, I mean, any second now we could get the first fill, and then 50. So off of 18, whether I get 1806 or 1810, I'm going to sit in front of quarters and sit in front of 50s for the 2 outs. It doesn't really matter exactly the price that I get in there. So hopefully it'll tick up a couple of extra pennies and we'll be able to get out of that one. CCL is mostly still going sideways, though. It was going sideways, and it actually rolled over, but I still haven't been filled on that in front of VWAP. Yeah, some of these are starting to come in, like the shorts are working, but you're not seeing full acceleration on any of those. And part of that might be, like I said, that NASDAQ, while it did turn back below 1,500, you look at how strong of a day we've had, that's really not much of a pullback. But the way I see it is, we break back out at the top, you just get stopped out in front of the high of the day. If there's a significant pullback, then these shorts start to really, really come in for you, and that's where the risk to reward does come to play. So if you're in a bunch of longs that are working, maybe you're thinking about your trailing stops, where you're going to take your profit. Otherwise, like the structure of these shorts, the risk to reward is pretty much fantastic. AMC is a bit of a different story going into the long trade there. And just to check back in, I know you're in CFVI or in CFVI. DWAC here. Yesterday was obviously fireworks. It just put in a bit of a volume spike, so I didn't really know. Did CFI just go?
No, it didn't do anything.
Okay.
Well, it moved, but.
Yeah, I mean, it just DWAC just had like a $2 volume spike on DWAC here. Just sort of hit. It just caught my attention. Brendo.
The Fox Business saying Truth Social to launch by the end of March. So, I mean, I think we kind of already knew that, but DWAC, yeah, seemed to pop up on that, guys.
Okay. It's good to have Brendan because I just saw the volume spike and was like, what was that? And then
Everybody talking about it here. They're like, DWAC. But CFVI, I was waiting at 90 there for CFVI, so it only goes as high as 74. CFVI. So we'll switch our order, put it right there, and see if we do get a fill on this to go to the upside. We'll take out half, and then again, if it does really want to rip, then let's put some offers up here. Hopefully we can catch it as it goes, and then we don't have to worry about it. One thing that's actually been pretty strong in this market move down has been Palantir. I mean, I'm cashing it out up here, and I talked about how we trade Palantir, but it's been pretty successful for us on that front. So we're going to look at that. Ford probably going to get out of here soon on this as we're getting closer and closer to this VWAP spot. Just to double check, I got to change the out on that one because now VWAP has come up, so I don't want to get out too much lower than 22s. So we'll get 18.22 there on Ford. We held it all the way up. It's just, the market did not work out for us on that trade. And it's okay. We're holding Intel to the short side. I know Neil just talked about that a little bit. This is a good one for us. Again, another one today, DJ College style. We have Twitter coming out after the close. Again, another name in the social media space that I just not going to say that this is going to beat or anything, but I mean, I talked about this earlier. You went up and down $7 to $9 from the Facebook trade to the Snapchat earnings. So, I mean, back and forth here on Twitter. Very, very volatile name. I just fear that if we take this out, remember Twitter is below its IPO price of like I think it was 12 to 15 years ago. So if you've been sitting in Twitter, there's a lot of names. I mean, I'm in Intel, it's the same situation. But like Twitter has just been disgusting. I own shares of Twitter, so I have been selling on some spikes. But look at this name all the way back into here. If we don't hold 30 today, then I don't know how low we go. We tested 20 in March of 2020. I don't think we see a 20 print, but you know, I'm just nervous about Twitter. I know Jack Dorsey is gone and now focusing on Square. So I feel like there might be a potential that the conference call is just better than it has been. So let's watch out for Twitter here, taking out 40 tomorrow. I don't mind it, but again, too choppy to make a call for earnings on Twitter. And okay, we're getting close, man, on CFVI. It's only going to be 23 cents, obviously, or no, higher than that, sorry. We're at 68 right now on CFVI, so hopefully that can come out. Oh, it just touched 66. Like, this is the thing. It just runs away from your orders, so I'm going to sit there and try to take a trade, try to take a fill, but it looks like it's going to have to run me over. It's not going to sit there and give it to me. So that stopped at 66. We're at 68. So hopefully CFVI can continue its march to the high side.
Yeah, and like, I'll use this one, if only because I'm looking for excuse. What the heck just happened? That was weird.
Boat. That was a boat.
I know, but all the screen went black, and I don't know, whatever. That was the boat one, and I'm not missing the boat on CCL, but we don't have
boats and hoes.
We don't have many boat graphics. I'm on a boat. Can't really do the rest of that song. I love Lonely Island, by the way. They're awesome. They should do some new stuff. But CCL gets down to VWAP, so we finally get that first out. There was this volume, like huge volume spike, where I just kind of felt like, why did this not go to VWAP there? But a big volume spike as the market was rolling over, so some of these shorts really starting to come back in here. I can tell you that backed, if you're bullish on it, it made a fourth test at 775 here. This is 4 times it's gone to this level. And it's like, how many times, if it hits it again, how is it not going to break? So if it comes back to 50s, like I'd be foolish not to try and take some more out here, because this looks pretty bullish. Anytime you see something like that, like this is insane. Like, the more times you test a level, it's like eventually it's just going to break. That's how these things work. So, you know, some of the other shorts look a little bit better right now. They've given multiple profit targets. They're getting closer to VWAP. Whereas this one, which is a runner, up 30%, probably doesn't care. Like, this stock doesn't care whether the market's coming up or down. It can break out anyways. So no way I'm going to be reloading this one. I'm actually going to take profit a little bit more shallow once again, because it feels like it's going to break here. Brendo?
Another earnings name just popping back up here. Corsair, former runner way back when. CRSR. Had earnings that were actually a little bit better than expected, but day highs anyways, up 4.5% here on a little volume spike there for Corsair.
Corsair, that's probably a beat down name on the daily. I missed it. I know you just had it up there. CRSR. Let's have a quick look at this one. Again, I'm only saying it's probably beat down because it's an IPO in the last 2 years. So an easy call. So let's just wait to see if that is true. I meant to ask Trader Pratt because what was that one GitHub or GitLab that IPO'd? That name's getting absolutely destroyed. I meant to mention that to Pratt because I know he's looking to take some new positions there. And good advice given on the $100 for AMD. I've been telling him to buy Apple. No, okay, Corsair good. Corsair's been good. So there it is, September 2020. They IPO and it monstered upside. And then now it's right back to some key. Yeah, this is a good stock, man. This is good. Their earnings tonight, Brendan, is that what you said? They reported yesterday. Okay, so yeah, they're moving here. Good name. Like taking out 2250, I like that for Corsair. So yeah, maybe some more work is required, but this is a good little level there for them. I'm pretty fully invested right now. I have some cash on. You know, I've been buying Microsoft. I talked about buying Google. We bought Meta 2 days ago. We talked about that on the show. Then I got mocked for it. How's that tasting now? And then Goldman Sachs has been the most recent buy. So, and then Palantir, but that was at $12. So, you know, we're still in some of those names. As here goes Palantir not going up, sorry. Intel, 10 cents.
Facebook's turning Faceball.
Faceball. Yeah, Faceball is like a great stock, Faceball today.
Obviously.
It's not... Yeah, it's not turning too much, but it does have that high. So there you go. Like this is, you want to talk about baseball, you might have a good short here because again, this looks like that NEO trade that I took where we topped out and topped out again. So now you can sort of play with house money because I mean, I'm up on this stock today. I can play with house money, but they're giving you this out right here, 233.40 as you're out. So they're giving you 80 cents. The downside is way more than 80 cents. So for a 1-to-1 trade, if you're still here, I forget who it was, Henry? No, not Henry. Who took the NEO trade to the short side? Nick? It was Nick. This might be a good trade. Where's NEO right now? Yeah, so there you go. So we talked about this as our trade of the day. Look at that. So something similar. Made a high, gave you the high again there with an obvious out, and then infinitely to 1, the risk to reward. So yeah, NEO looking good. Facebook might be in the same area there. Where's Arun? I don't know if he's in or out of that trade yet, but he did have
probably in everything still.
I talked to him about it. I think, so he'd moved his stop up to 230, but I'm feeling like he probably moved it to 231 right now. So when I see him, I will re-ask Arun where his stop is. Has nothing to do for me. It just interested to see where he is because I know he did have this long and he was just able to hold it. Same trade as me, but able to hold it to the upside. So we'll see. I don't mind this 231.50 break either. So here it comes to the downside. Wow, should took my own advice there. Facebook absolutely tanking.
As the market goes down, Snapchat going the other way here. It actually broke the high of the day, although, thank you for pointing it out, Omar. I was thinking there could be a push here in Snapchat, but $40 the last couple of days. It had a nice consolidation there a couple of days ago at 39.5, and then that top failing at 40 even. I just feel like it's going to run into some resistance as the market coming down. It's hard to look at something like that and be in love with the long trade when you're taking out a top and the market's doing the other thing at the high of the day. And another one moving, is going to be Peloton. It's sort of bouncing off some levels. If that breaks out, it actually has days like resistance from the morning at about 38.20. And the thing about Facebook there with the market, it's like most of these setups are the same thing. It's like you just get these double, triple tops, and then you're short in. If you're short in one, you're short in all. You could have done the futures when we took 15,000. The setup is basically the same thing. Snapchat's going to be a different story. Like that's a multi-day level if it gets back to that $40 point, and it would have to get. Look, it would have to accelerate quite a bit for that to happen. Just going to come back over to Vinco because I actually got a reload finally in this stock. It consolidated here off of this 45, 46, but again, short right here, 55s. The high is 60. If it breaks 60, I'm out of it. Just getting back in so I can play the range on Vinco Ventures. It's slowing down like everything else, but if it rolls over to VWAP, this is the setup that we're taking over and over again. And finally, I don't have the AMC rocket, so I'll hit this thing. The up arrow. Oh, you have it?
Well, I do somewhere. Yeah, go ahead. I'll just hit it.
Yeah, I mean, finally AMC bounces off 18 and breaks that quarter mark. Next stop, hopefully that 18.15. Remember, 1850 a level, and then 19 on the daily chart, another big one there for AMC. So would like to be out before it gets to those key price levels. It might still break them, but let's scalp in front of these. You saw the support. It was sitting there all afternoon, literally all afternoon. This 18 level has been there, and it's managed to give you another bounce off that price. So you go long in front of support this afternoon. You go short in front of the highs. That's basically been the trade. There hasn't been too much else.
Yeah, okay, I was just messaging Justin, but we'll talk about that after. Okay, so just a quick check here. As all my positions, I'm just leaving them and letting them go right now. Not much to do on that. So let's just go over here to our portfolio in the crypto universe. So obviously Bitcoin, a nice little run. We talked about that. We got back in. Obviously, we talked about when it broke through 40,000. I said possible squeeze happening. I mean, there's 10% straight upside. It hasn't even moved off that. A nice move for Bitcoin off 40. That's good. We did buy some more Ethereum, but really we loaded up on Cardano and Solana. So those are the two coins that have been making the biggest moves for me lately. There's been other ones. I am long Matic, but I didn't get more at the bottom of that name. Can't do it all. But anyways, these are the ones that I'm most concerned about. Cardano, Solana, and then Ethereum much more than Bitcoin, but now that I think about it, I have a lot of money in the Bitcoin Trust. So so I do own a lot of Bitcoin as well. So those ones going. I noticed Shiba Inu over the last 7 days, 55% up. Shiba Inu in a week, 55%. That's good. I have Matic, that's 23%. And then Ripple, I don't want to ignore that, 42%. What coins are you guys buying here at any of these levels? Put those in the chat and we can see. But my missed opportunity really is Polygon, which of course is Matic. But I bought all the other ones. I can show you a chart of Cardano. I mean, that $10, or that $1 is pretty clean, and nothing up with that. Gala, okay, Shiba Inu, all right, well, you guys are all on the normal ones there, so we'll talk about that. I like Mana as well, possibly, but I might own small, but not enough Mana, as I should. Okay, I thought we changed, okay, Ford didn't take it out, so Ford, we will put an offer here to get out if it takes out 23. That's a new level, and it looks like it's going to. A lot of size on the ask starting to build up, so watch out for 1823. I'm gonna fix my stop order, put that in there. That's where the stop lies for Ford for me.
Yeah, I remember I said that I was going to try and tighten it up on BKKT, no reload on the stock, try and get out more aggressively in front of 50s. We don't do that. However, we did take some profit and then broke the high of the day. It hasn't gone anywhere, but it broke the high, so I'm out of that one. Vinco Ventures did come immediately back in to first target. It just goes right back to barcoding, so it pops, and we're right in the same range doing exactly what we were doing before. That remains right in pocket. Brendo?
Roblox popping up here, guys, on a tweet from, looks like Disney ABC News VP Dan Linden highlighting a press release dated February 9th, suggesting that NFL teams are teaming up with Roblox on some metaverse work. So heads up on RBLX, big volume candle there.
I mean, yeah, that was a missed opportunity for me on Roblox because we talked about it. Remember when that seller report there came out and I was like, yeah, nice story there, bud. Yeah, so right now those guys are down off that report. I mean, look, you come at Roblox with that crap, it's not good, guys. But anyways, it gave us an opportunity. Unfortunately, I was waiting lower than this, where it came down to. I think I was waiting 57 or 55. I think you got to buy Roblox down here. And there it is right there, $70 coming through. This will be a trade on my radar tomorrow, will be Roblox. I love that name. My kid is invested in this as well. It's like one of the only stocks that he owns. So we'll see. Obviously, he's right back. He bought it early, so he's 10 years old. So it's just play money for him. But we'll wait to see there as it's coming back up. I think Roblox does, I don't know about new highs in this year. That 140 was pretty sweet. We last bought it before earnings, rocketed up there. We were able to get out some on the way in, and now we're holding it on the way back. But I really like Roblox here. No concerns for me about this name, other than the fact that obviously when you're looking at valuation and things like that, yeah, it comes into question. So that's always the way it's going to be. And by the way, bang. Okay, because CFVI, there it is. We get out at 64 there. Let's see where it goes now. It's just 20 cents. So we're just like making back what we lost. It's not, it's worked out there. That was good. Now I'm going to put an offer right here. 15, let's go a little lower in case we don't, this happens to us again. 15.25-ish. We're going to put an offer. Maybe it hits it. Maybe it doesn't. But hey, CFVI, we'll go 1 for 1 on the afternoon show. Why not?
25-ish. That sounds like 26 to me, or 24.
For what?
No, it's 25-ish. It's like get in front of it. One with 24, 26.
Well, I can't say the exact price because remember I have this thing against these prices.
I know.
Like
it happens.
Personal vendetta.
Weird. You know what ends up? Arun talked about this. A lot of times when you're putting orders in front of key levels, like you pick the same thing. Like in front of 25s, it's weird. If a stock is expensive, I'll do like 31 a lot.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, if it's in front of a quarter, and you kind of get comfortable doing it. I did have this on my board, by the way, so I found it. I can hit the AMC. Well, that's my bad. It was actually on like page 8
it's the
or
best
something.
one.
And it got to that 850, but it's sort of slowed down. Big volume candle there as it spikes up. So we'll take the profit on AMC. Some of these, the market's starting to make another bounce to the top side here, and this is a reason why. When you're rolling into some of these shorts, you're going to scalp some out. Now CCL gets close to VWAP. It's bouncing, still not really threatening to go back to the top. Intel. It got down to that 75. It's still barcoding at 90s here, but bouncing a little bit. And Vinco, for now, looking pretty solid. I did want to check because with the market going upside, remember Snapchat had broken that high of the day. Still in the New York, last I checked. Had broken that high of the day, and it's pretty close to that 40 level. It's getting a little parabolic in here on Snapchat, but 40 even, it's a round number. We had a turn there the other day. The market's still looking to take out those highs, but Snap into Twitter earnings. aftermarket, looking like it's making some power moves here. Not a lot of things breaking the highs. Like I saw BACT break the high and then go up. It's now up, what, 10 cents after breaking the high of the day? Bigger move and maybe more volume here to Snapchat. That's why it feels like it can get to that 40 level.
I'm just getting out of Intel here. I mean, I'll hold a little bit for the bottom side, but I mean, I think this market just wants to continue its move higher, right? I mean, look at Palantir. Like, we'll just bang that one out again as well. Like, we'll go, yeah. And this is like, I take these outs. It's because I put the shares on. Like, I should hold, and that's like the one thing that I'm trying to learn. It's because I have more shares. I'm like, oh, take it. Like all these levels, just take it. But if I just take these trades and wait for the ultimate, then yeah, probably would do a hell of a lot better. But hey, right now we're at the highest spot we've been at all day. We had a rough go Monday, made money yesterday. Obviously net positive here today. We only have one red stock on my board. We traded AMD today. So here's I don't have to go over it. AMD positive, CGC positive, Ford positive, Facebook positive, Intel positive, Neo positive, Palantir, Piton, and PayPal. So those are all the names that we trade today. You'll see them go across the bottom there, and it's just been a good day. The only thing is we will not be able to make this back on CFVI. Even if it rips all the way up here, just did the math. I mean, it has to take out like 17 to get out, and I'm not doing that. So we will not be positive on CFVI today. But again, small cuts. We took our shot there, and that's what that is. Like, if you ever want to ask if I'm positive on a name or something, just put it in the chat. And I know that Valeria's not here. We've already talked about that. She'll be back on Tuesday of next week. But if you ever want to know if I'm red on a name or anything like that, ask me, and we'll talk about that on the chat or on the show. So Twitter. Oh, did Roblox? Someone just said Roblox took 70 there. Wow, great. Oops. Always. I'm like, you're like back with that with BACT. I'm like that with Roblox. Wow.
Well, it's every symbol.
Like, what in the hell? I know Brendan just brought this to us, but wow, it is just banging that up to the upside here as we go, man. I got another NFL NFT yesterday, so I'm pretty happy about the NFT situation. I got my Wall Street bull. So yeah, I'm happy, man. I'm all metaversed out, guys. Let's go.
Oh yeah, like it's actually not just BACT. It's every symbol that's 4 letters. I just always type it at the NQ. I'm not even looking for levels to fade on Roblox. There's so many things that are at the high of the day. Someone asked why, like, I'm surprised you didn't short DWAC on that news. Well, if you're sitting in 3 or 4 things at the high of the day with the market at the high of the day, even if the setup is there, like, you're just basically piling more into the same thesis. So it might work, but it just, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Risk to reward. And the other thing about risk to reward is, yeah, maybe you just missed Snapchat here. Flip. Snapchat gets to 39.87. I wanted it a little bit closer to 40. Now it looks like it's turning right here. It's already made that pullback, so might have missed an opportunity on it though. But the thing about looking at a level like that, and why we pulled up the higher time frame to be able to show you, like, look at the daily, look at the consolidation on the daily chart in Snapchat. The market at that high, it's trying to break out a high when there's resistance right above that same level. And this is on top of making a huge gap and then forming a consolidation into eventually what might be a break above that 40. And the market's at the top. Like, the market, if the market was breaking through highs and you were screaming on a bunch of names, that could give you more push. But that's why I expected it would probably turn somewhere around that obvious even dollar level. It just didn't quite get there. So if you're in a long position, sometimes it's about thinking where it might turn. That was the example with Bill the other day. Super strong trend, and it was going up all day long. That didn't mean there was a long at the end of the day. In this particular case, looking for the short was the right thing to do. It just didn't quite give me the fill. You're not going to catch them all. We are starting to come back in on Intel, by the way. BACT is starting to pull back in. Yeah. Also starting to pull back in is Vinco Ventures. CCL not doing too much, but this either breaks VWAP by the time we get the imbalances in, or I'm just going to put a trailing stop at 350. So what you do, usually what will happen is if I'm in the money, I'll find the next resistance point, put a trail. So if the imbalance comes out a buy, I get stopped out. Otherwise, I get to hold through 350. And if it comes out in your favor, well, you're already in the money, and then you just get a bit of a tick down. So I think CCL is something I'll do that with. That's what it's all about. And we haven't really looked too much at Tesla today. Well, I've looked at Tesla, but only when I was in XPeng. It's not really doing anything. The 950 level, still looks like it's pretty heavy resistance because it got relatively close and then just died all the way down to 920. So I think that's what I'll be looking at tomorrow. 950 should be a big level, as it has been for the last little while on Tesla. But, actually, I think it's a good thing sometimes when Tesla is a little bit more calm, right? Like, you want the stock to behave like this. When it finds price acceptance above 900, that's a good thing.
Yeah, we didn't trade Tesla. I mean, Neil just talking about it. We don't look at it as much as we probably should. But again, I'm very, very specific, and I've changed up my strategy, as you guys know, to focus on like few names, right? And I think it's been working. So I'm going to stick with hashtag sticky note and just keep on doing that because so far so good. And then we'll find some names throughout the day that aren't on the sticky note, like an Intel that we're in right now. We did trade CGC today. I'm debating getting out of some of my ABV. I don't know. I know, Daryl, you were buying SPG with me at the bottom. I don't know if you were also buying ABV with me, but here we go. Let's just see. I'm just trying to find out because I don't want to make the same mistake. I mean, this is a healthcare name. We like it in the bioscience area there. It's just been a monster to the upside here, AbbVie. They killed their report. And I'm just wondering, is this a name that maybe we should be raising some cash in? Like look at this. This was $80, like just a monster to the upside right here. I was actually buying this pre-pandemic. Now that I see the price, because I'm in a lot lower than this. So yeah, no, Daryl, you're not in with me on this one. These are the prices that we're in right here on AbbVie. So this goes all the way back to 2019. So my bad. We were buying Tesla, Square, Disney, JPM, and SPG on the bottoms. Those were my COVID buys, not this one. This is down here. But okay, anyway, so AbbVie, just an absolute monster. The thing is, they're paying a dividend, but now the dividend's less because of the capital appreciation. But look, this name is well above everything. I may decide to sell some of that. Did I just get into something else here? No, I did not.
Peloton just made a move.
Peloton did? No, I'm not into that one. Peloton tier. Made a move upside there. Yeah, that's not what this stock is called. But there it is, a nice move back. Here we go, Palantir. Taking out new highs there. Shout out to Henry. Shout out to everybody that's on this one with me as well. Palantir starting to go here, so that looks like a good name for us on the day. Yes, let's go Palantir. Taking out new highs right now. And you guys can see we loaded up the boat on this one. Just wish we hadn't got rid of the boat, but we did. So we have a small piece now as the boat still rising up here on PLTR, rising up on Ford, and CFVI is putting everybody to sleep. But hey, we already got our out there, CFVI, so no tank city for me this time.
Yeah, and I noted Peloton. They actually got into a trade in Peloton here, but see the size at 37.90, 40,000 shares or so. When it made the volume spike up here, that offer just immediately showed up. In this case, I'm just stopping out on that exact order. Like, if it breaks that order, I'm getting out. Otherwise, we're just going to sort of scalp in and out of it here. Snapchat looks like it retested, getting close to that 40 level, but a very tight stop for Peloton. Just wanted to show you guys that size. Omar, that's a great fill that you got there on Snapchat if you got 82s the first time, because it got to 83. It's now right back up to 40 even, about 50,000 shares on the offer from what I can see on this level. I'm going to basically see if I can, there we go, take 90. We'll get 96s there. So again, it's going to be a relatively tight stop. If it breaks 40, we're obviously out of it. The first time is almost always better. So, you're usually using a few more shares the first time through because it's likely to run a little bit further away. But I'm going to take it here, 96, 5 cents plus slippage. And once it goes like 10, which it already has, I should be, there we go. We just got some on the bid at 85. Gonna get another bid down there in the 70s. And it's the same scalp style trade, right? Like, it's just get in front of the level, take it right out. If it breaks the high, don't mess around with it. You don't have to get in 10 times. You just get in one time and then play it. The trend is still clearly to the upside. As the market, by the way, about to take out the high of the day on the NASDAQ.
Yeah, and so good call there, Christian. Thank you for that. We are out of Intel with a bang. So we didn't love the short, but it did treat it properly. So there we are. We are out at 89s there, out of everything. We only held 20% left on Intel. So to me, no brainer there. Actually, see, if I was sitting here and actually, instead of hosting the show and, talking to you guys and trying to make some jokes and so on and so forth. The minute that broke 85 right there, that was the out for me, and I should have took that, but we got 89s instead, so now no Uman, no cry on that one. Palantir, 86s, still making moves higher. We'll hold on to that one, man. We have some imbalances coming out in 15, so that's at 350. That'll come out for us. Wow, NVIDIA, wow, AMD, wow, AMC still going, Roblox, everything making big moves. Affirm, wow on Affirm as well. And I don't think any of you guys out there bought any of those dips on Affirm, but hey, man, like if you did, good on ya. This thing was just 50 bucks. Like you want to talk about AMC going crazy, AMD going crazy to the upside. Like, and I know a lot of you were talking about buying Affirm at 100 and things like that. That did look like a decent level until that happened. But look, man, we're marching back. We're marching back, baby. So let's see what happens here with Affirm. Anybody bought that 50 level? Like, again, I don't know if no one tweeted it at me, but that was a great level down there, man. 50 bucks. It hit that there, hit that again. Affirm off to the races. So I'm going to go a big Canadian congratulations to anybody that bought Affirm down there. I bought. Someone said, not someone said, I was talking about the names that I bought. I did buy Shopify as well, but that hasn't really gone back. So Shopify has been a buy that we're out of the money. Shopify CRM, I don't think is in the money either since I bought it, but we'll check back. Today's a big day. So the daily range here on Shopify, yeah, no, that's not going to be back yet because we bought right in here, this 1050 area off of that off of these bottoms here. So you could see Shopify again. And that's why we're the People's Trader. We're going to tell you the positions that we're in, and then there it is, 1050. So we are still out of the money on Shopify. I will double check, but I believe that's the price. And then CRM, one more checkup on that one. Yeah, this is like a 225 area. So we still are out on CRM, but a couple bottom picks there for us. Let's see if they work. The NASDAQ is putting in the work, though, today.
Yeah, and Peloton, like I said, that size was at 37.90, jumped in front at 85, got some out 70, now on the bid in front of about 37.30. Like it's not the 50 level, it's just kind of this peak here before, like right at 130 it was. This topped out at 37.30, and then when it broke out of VWAP, you saw 37.30 be a bit of a top there. So new position was Peloton, in and out pretty quickly. And then the other one, of course, Snapchat. Like we talk about the first time being better than the second time through. Like it gives that one pullback into 85, short 96s, only get like 11 pennies, and then it takes out the high. I'm not holding through the high. It only went to 40.05. It's just that first spike when it goes parabolic into the level the first time, like it's just climbed essentially from 256 straight up for a half an hour into that 39.82. That's why if you catch the first move, it's almost always going to be a better return for you, but it wasn't quite close enough. Shout out to Omar if you got that one at 82. That's a great fill, but you do always want to take profit because it's still a counter trend trade. Right, like the stock is screaming to the upside. Maybe it falls from here, but hey, the market's still booming, so I don't mind that trade at all. Brendo?
Things making moves here. Vroom, VRM, just popped up there through $8 at day highs. Apparently, Bill Miller was also talking about this on CNBC today, so you can see about midday, about the same time, VRM popped up there on a decent volume spike. There's also this where is it? There it is, PFMT up 25% today, a little one off of earnings, just made a huge spike at day highs, guys.
What's up, Henry? Thanks again for the Palantir talk. I assume you're loaded up on Palantir shares. Seems to be your favorite stock more than mine, I think. But look, someone's talking here. Who is it? You, Frank? I forget who it is. But shout out to you, Frank Jones. Thank you for everybody yelling at everybody for the likes. 752 likes. Let's go. We need to get that to 1,000. If we can do that, that'd be fantastic. I got to say thank you to Tim. He liked the salmon shirt. So, if you guys like the salmon shirt as well, hit the like button for that. We haven't had salmon for lunch, Jinx, in a very, very long time. So what's up? Goodness. Yeah, Henry, there it is. Henry knows. I'm laughing because he has a hefty position there. I'm very, very, so first of all, good out on Intel, first of all. There, we'll drop the grenade there. Looking like a 50 take. I wouldn't go long 50 right now. I actually got to make sure I have my orders canceled because I no longer have these shares. But I don't like the super long on 50, although there is nice size there, about 100,000 shares just visually. So that means there's probably about 1 million on offer there at 50. So if you did like the short now, I could stamp it now at 97, but I don't really like the long. The futures are absolutely destroying to the upside right now. So let's go. We're almost at 1,000 likes, 950. If you're not hitting the like for me, hit it for Brendan. What's up, Brendan?
There's a big spike on both the dollar index, so DXY here, and also the 10-year, guys, back to day highs. So just looking at the US dollar popped up there, but also 10-year back to day highs ahead of that CPI number tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. We know we get inflation coming. That's true. But the 10-year, I don't know. Like sometimes the market ignores those moves, and sometimes they react to it. And you're seeing right here, like we're busting through those highs. If 50 is a level, then I'm going to get in front of it at 97, just like we did, and just about every other name, right? So get in the offer, but it's a bit of a different trade. Like when you're taking a rollover in front of the high, where I'm trying to hold this into VWAP for a bigger return, that's not the same thing as there's size on level, even $50. Short 97, 98. That's just a different story. As a day trader, that is a pure scalp trade every single time. That is not, ooh, this is going to be the turn and Intel's going to fall $1. Get that out of here. You're risking 5 cents. You're taking 5, 10, 15 cents if it gives it to you. Vinco's at the high of the day as well. Snapchat, I mean, these long breakouts into the imbalances, I don't love them this late in the day. The longer it consolidates here, there might be like a quick in and out. It got to 05 once and pulled back. It just broke again, got to 03 and has pulled back. Each time a little bit higher of a low is getting put in. So it still looks like it's trying to challenge and break a little bit, but I'm going to stay away from these longs through the highs. They just feel like a little bit of a trap. And to check in on a name which I showed you wasn't doing much, yeah, getting very close to afternoon highs on Tesla. It actually bumped up $10 there, so it was doing nothing except sliding to the downside as the market was trying to break highs. Well, it's getting a little bit close to a potential breakout. So another positive sign of strength. It's weird to say that it felt weak when it's up 1.5%, but trailing the overall, trailing the NASDAQ anyways. It's right in line with the ES.
Yeah, so I'm doing the same thing now on Intel. I mean, I just took 2 pennies there. So short 96, we got 10% out for 2 cents. And like I said, man, I think we talked about this the other day. I think it was on Prad's show there on the midday, and someone said that Greg was telling Prad, hey man, money is money. So yeah, we'll take it. We'll take that 2 cents. We'll still keep scalping it though. I mean, if we get back here to 88s or something, then that'd be fantastic. We'll ring the register on that. And yeah, I'm not trying to think that this is going to go all the way to the downside. However, we do have the possibility as imbalances are coming out in 10 minutes right now. So that could definitely influence the market. So we do have a couple more bids here, 91s, 92s. We'll wait for 92s now to the downside, and then we'll see if we can even get the majority of it out here at 88, because like you say, like we just keep on adding this up, man, like all the way down. Like there we go. We just got a 92 right there. I'll just go boom. I mean, there, 89s?
Yeah, we got 89s, yeah.
Okay, there it is again. We got 89s again there. So now we go to the downside, and there it is, man. That's the reload, and like I said, you could do it both ways. Figure out what kind of a trader you are and the opportunity that's there, right? That's the key thing. It's what opportunity is in front of you. I acknowledge that taking $4 or $5 on Facebook like we did was not great because it moved 10. Okay, but how far is Intel really going to go? I just said we'd get them out here if we went down to 88. Unfortunately, our best is 90 there. So let's get some more out as we approach 88 again, and we'll just keep on ringing the register as there's only 20 minutes left. We're really glad, Rolling Records, that this show changed your life, man. This is what we're talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, one thing to say about Intel, like, remember basically every single day there's a huge imbalance that comes out on Intel that gets paired off. It's still worth noting that it does usually come out 1 million shares. So when it's at that high of the day, you know, I would not be surprised if there was a sell imbalance when it's sitting right in front of 50. I'm not, you know, I don't think that's kind of an exaggeration or like a crazy guess, but every single day we've seen something along those lines. So if I happen to be in just the last 20% of it, it might be worth holding. As it falls off here, I'm not going to bid. I'd rather, if you're short in front of 50 and it's 349, you might as well hope that you get a sell imbalance because you're in the money and just put a trailing stop in. So that's what I'm going to do here. Vinco broke the high of the day. I actually accidentally reversed into a long trade, which if I ever do that, I'm just going to get out right away. I didn't even pay the spread. I just got in and out at exactly the same price there, but it just broke the high. They gave you a couple of scalp trades, but the small caps are a bit of a different story. Everything that might follow the market when it got to the high of the day, when the futures pulled back, it worked. Backed and Vinco Ventures gave you some opportunity to win, but then they broke out. I think that's because the small caps don't care what the NASDAQ does.
So we just took 84s there on Intel. We're going to try to hold. We now do have 20% left of that trade, so we're going to hold it now to the bottom. Mike, yeah, Arun and I think that's what you're asking, and I just said Facebook. E-Signal. So we use E-Signal. So I know I heard Arun talking about it on the show there about E-Signal. So that's what I use, E-Signal as well. So Arun and I use that, and it's just a matter of, I mean, I think any charting platform, as long as it's reliable, is what you want. So I like eSignal, but again, there's data. You can get different data for that. So you shop around, but you can DM me if you want, but it's eSignal. It's quite expensive. It can be a couple $100 a month, depending on the entitlements that you have. So just watch out for that. MU, hey, yeah, you're welcome, Mike. And thanks for those shoes, by the way, bud. At Laced Up Soles on Twitter. We have more to talk about. So me and you, Mike, let's keep on hooking that up. Look at MU. You guys just said Micron is on fire. Like, yeah. Like, wow, big time movement. Did we miss earnings on this or something? Like Micron today. I mean, I guess the thing is, NVIDIA's also up 7%. I don't know. I mean, I'm in Intel. I don't know what that's up. But AMD is up huge too. AMD up 3% today. NVIDIA up 6%. And then as I look now, Micron up 5%. Here, I'll just go over to Intel and see what that's up today.
I think it's just a chip
2. So it's the least. But Intel up 2%. Everything else rocking and rolling. So yeah, Micron. Wow, great call there by whoever was looking at Micron today. Strong on the daily, man. Like, honestly, all these chip names, despite a couple, I mean, I could check out your ASML. I think that's a good one, too. AMAT's been good, too. But Micron right now working off some of these bottoms. The best has been AMD in the last couple weeks because he had that 100 bottom, and now you're up 30%. But I know Neil was talking about ASML. I've never been in this.
I've never owned it.
Oh, okay. So look, I just makes sense, right? We talked about why.
Yeah, I think it's look, the big three in terms of the equipment suppliers are ASML, AMAT, and Lam, of which AMAT's the one I'm in. But ASML is a great company. Like, they have a very specialized machine that literally everybody in one kind of chip that only they can make with that machine. So it's very important in the process, and it just prints money for them. They're an expensive stock. I think the ADR goes for it's super expensive here. Oh, sorry, it's not an ADR. But the shares here, trade at like $600. But good name to be sure. The chips are pretty strong today. I was just checking AMAT at that 4%. One more thing to get to. Someone asked, do I have a direction on Backed? This late in the day, ooh, I did it again. Oh man, I had it, and then of course I was gonna do the New York, and then NASDAQ happened, and I hit it. I would be short in this. But like I said, I gave up on the small caps when they broke the highs of the day and went back over to these names that were working off those tops, like being able to scalp back in. And then, of course, back makes a pullback. But there's nothing I would do here. Absolutely nothing. Like, either you're short off the top or you're holding along into the close. I don't think you need to force yourself a trade in the middle here with 15 minutes to go. Brendan?
I just saw this MNDT. Remember yesterday it was about this time or a little bit earlier. This MNDT popped up on buyout rumor. Day highs here for this thing, trying to get back up to $10, guys, for that one.
Oh, you're right. That's some, what's it called again?
Mandalorian? Okay, bing bong right now as Intel, hey-o, Tony over there killing it. I think Tony's probably long Facebook like at 220. So we'll check back on with Tony in a minute. There he was trading. He's learning to trade. Tony the Tiger. Yeah, but bing bong, there it goes. We'll go fruit salad time. Although we had a little bit of fruit salad today. We'll bring this guy back as there comes down to the downside as Intel. Yeah, buddy. We are now waiting 78. Here it comes. comes, fast and furious. Very, very good trade there off that top. Remember when it was at 50? I said, I think it breaks, but again, for the risk and reward, like that is about as easy. Like, I mean, that's why we're taking it. These are easy trades. And this is where you could definitely share size up, right? And then that's what we did. And you go doot, 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 all the way to the downside as it continues to go. Bing bong for Palantir as well. That's at the high, but not bing bong for CFVI as that goes ping pong downside right now. So we're going to watch out if 14 breaks, then we gone. We just happy that we were able to make that trade. CFVI, not a great trade today. AMC, that was one that I missed for sure. Normally your boy has that, but that break, yeah, see, I should have had it right here at 18.20. I know Neil had it down defending 18. That was great, but I should have had that breaking back upside. We talked about it. Shout out to Niagara Charlie. This was on our watch early. I even had to look up. I actually had Niagara Charlie DM me what all that meant on AMC today about the custody and about the loans and everything like that. And yeah, wow. Congratulations anybody that watched us early and took that advice, because I missed it by 10 cents down here, the bid, but still great movement to the upside today for AMC. Congratulations to all the shareholders out there, especially if you've bought in the last 5 days.
And if it doesn't break 19 today, it could always break 19 tomorrow. I think that's still a big level. It's too late in the day, I think, now for a charge to it, at least for us, because we're flat in 12 minutes. Peloton broke that seller that was at 37.90. So we did get some out and then take it out essentially flat, but 5 cents worth of a hit on that size order. I wasn't using the high of the day in that case. Like it got to this price range after a big move up, and then somebody popped on the offer and it stalled for a second and it's just jumped in front of that size. So that's the kind of trades that have been working. It's at the round number, at the high of the day. In this case, there happened to be size there, but you take what's going to work, and you have to be able to make those types of trades. I did want to, just on Activision, there was news today on Activision, so someone had mentioned there, what essentially it means for Activision is everybody was pricing, a lot of people were pricing in this deal would not go through for antitrust reasons. So the fact that Microsoft is going to come out and saying they're going to have they're going to have some procedures for how they run the apps, and certainly maybe get out in front of some of the concerns when it comes to competition. That's why it's going to get the spike. And then on top of that, because there's such a huge spread, anything that's perceived as positive and you're going to get a monster move to the upside, I'll show you here. Like, I actually went to fade this because whatever, it was off the range at 81 and got blown out, and then just said, if it's this strong, at some point, this thing, the closer it gets to getting firmed up, it's going to start squeezing people. So the long was actually really good, and I didn't go back to the well. I stopped doing this at lunchtime, and you might see me trade some Activision tomorrow because it feels like it's found a real bid here above $80 and at 81. So if it's being readjusted up, the deal is at $90, right? So almost anything that comes positively on this deal is going to start to be a momentum trading opportunity and not just your regular bio trading. Like, the stock put in a $2 range today, and you could see it put another $1 range tomorrow.
I did hear that Joe Byron was talking earlier on today, guys. So just an inside, yeah, it's an inside joke. Joe Byron there. So Joe Byron, bing bong. Okay, so there you go. Can you tell we're making money and having fun today, guys? But all right. What's up, Sam, the gold man? Okay. Greg, calm down. Oh my God, the imbalances. We didn't even look at what that was. The imbalances just came out. It looks like they're big time to the buy side here. I got to rearrange this. I didn't even realize the time. I was too busy doing those other stupid things. Buy. So a couple buys on here for sure. What is major? Ford going, fine, that's good. We've already got that. Apple with the buy as well. Big time movement there with Apple to the high side. So far so good here as it's starting to go upside. I don't know what the market's doing, but that's a 20-minute chart. Oops, what's even happening with my mouse here? Just clicking on random things. There it is. We're good at the 1-minute chart. Okay, so Apple does go upside right there on that. Ooh, PayPal, bing bong, that's a buy as well to the upside there. 176.20, but now you're starting to see the market fade back a little bit. 30. So SWN, I guess, is the big sell.
Oh my goodness. So I'm like, yeah, I'll hold on to Intel, put a trailing stop for 350 in case it comes out of buy imbalance. It comes out, like 350 hits, it trails me out, And I go to look up, well, yeah, it must have been a buy imbalance. No, it was actually a sell imbalance, but the trailing stop hit anyway. So that was the plan, so I'm not going to be mad. But it is a sell imbalance on Intel. It's not a million shares. I thought I saw like 700,000. Either way, not gigantic. XOM, obviously the biggest one there, but not gigantic. Ford's 1.3, and Pfizer is decent at 1.3 as well.
All right, let's go, guys. Big time. We held it. Intel didn't really do much, though. I mean, it does go down. I was bidding 75, so whatever. We'll rearrange that. I'm just going to cancel all my orders now, as we just got out of Ford. So that was, again, like, ring the register. I said that this could have been our trade of the day. We'll finish up with 0 LFT and at our highest spot today. We made infinitely more money today than yesterday. So again, the only negative name we have on, and I just got out of it, the only negative name we have on today is CFVI. So again, AMD, CGC, CFVI, Facebook, Ford, Palantir. Actually, we do have a negative. We got to get out of this trade still, but Palantir will be slightly negative on that one. Peloton killed that. Wow, Peloton. Okay, we talked about that on the sticky note there, buying 35.36. And yeah, my best out 37.50 on that one as we continue to rip. Yeah, there's the Facebook flush. Good call on that. Roblox as well. Back in on that. That's probably flushing through 70. No, Roblox hanging out high here, but the Nasdaq's actually holding out. So a good move on the Nasdaq there into that 350. Held Roblox up high. Still up that 10 points, guys. We're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, I didn't see who asked about Disney. I put it in the chat. It's a small imbalance, 160 to buy. We don't mind doing it. I'm actually flat, so I don't really have any positions on. Like I said, there weren't gigantic imbalances, but it's not that hard to take a quick look for anybody that's interested in it. By the way, Affirm continuing to actually press higher. Got to 75, made a wick top here through 75, and a bit of a pullback in. Affirm will be an interesting one for me because obviously I was shorting off the 70 level. You can see, keep it to the key prices. And remember, I talked about this. When a stock moves hard into a key price level, the best chance to get it is the first time. There's a great example. I actually should have mentioned this at the time when we were talking about Snapchat. This is the first time Affirm at the open pressed up, and then it falls $2. The second time it goes to the same level, it falls $1 and then eventually breaks. Like, that's the difference. If it goes to that price level the first time, it's almost always going to give you a better return, which is why you want to have that level mapped out. Sometimes you might miss it anyways, but you have to be prepared with that price level in mind to actually capture the trade when it moves parabolically into that kind of a price. Market looks like it wants to hold that high. Looks good to me. AMC still hasn't broken 19, but it feels like it's almost inevitable at this point.
Yeah, I got to cancel all my orders now because we are officially unplugged. So there it is. We'll unplug ourselves from this market, and we are out. We take Intel at 83. Monster close for Intel for me. Back-to-back jacks right there. We step up like your boy Vladdy, and we'll do Superman because of no Miss V back a week from yesterday. She'll be back in the building. Okay, forget about Intel for now. That was that. We got out of Palantir there. Where's my minute chart? There it is. So there's Outlook. I mean, look at this. What's up to Henry? I know you're the Palantir fanboy there, but nicely done here. Henry, I got to send you this hat at some point, Henry. This is from Trader Prad, Palantir investor right there. So you can definitely, it sounds like you're much more an investor than I am in Palantir, so good trade there. And then the last one was Ford. So we got out of that as well off of these bottoms. So many possible trades of the day. We chose NEO, which has been good, but let's go back over to Brendan and see what tomorrow's trade of the day is going to be. It'll be on this board probably.
That's a pretty high percent. Let's have a look, guys, at what's coming up tonight for earnings. Some big names to deal with.
Yeah,
I like
Disney in there.
Disney's going to move, and Uber certainly, I think, is going to move as well, and I like their chances. Lyft was very strong today, so I think I definitely like their chances. They just aren't, like, it's missing that one really big, like, you want that tech, that one big tech name that isn't going to be there today, and I will always shout them out when they're on the board. Go Canada Goose. Little Canadian content for you there, although, this winter, starting to wrap up, obviously, so they're kind of a seasonal play.
Yeah, for sure. Philip Morris in the middle, obviously tobacco, Mattel, some recent deals as well. And then I gave you Berkshire, obviously, and right in the middle is Coca-Cola. So, and it's funny, in the last 10 years, the S&P and Berkshire are almost neck and neck. So, you know, like I'm giving advice to my kid who's 20 and already has a TFSA, obviously, and is investing in that. And it's just like, as much as you like to think that picking stock is the best, I really think like that's a good example there. Berkshire and the S&P both up huge in the last 10 years, but almost equal. And you saw the weighting that he had, 42% into Apple. So it's almost like if you pick the best names, and Apple's a huge index name, so if you pick the right names and then just buy dips, if you buy, and that's not even accounting for the percentage you'd be up if you bought dips. So if you buy dips in NASDAQ, in the ES, things like that, things like what we've been talking about here on the show, you can definitely outperform. It's picking random names that's the problem, right? Like we bought TDOC, lost in it, got out. Like that's going to affect it. I would have never got out of the SPY or the Qs if I was still in those. I'd just be averaging in. So that's something to take your consideration. I've been investing my own capital since probably 2021 and I've been loved doing it. So it's fun to do it, but it's too stressful. I think you should just buy indexes.
Well, I mean, I don't know. To me, I think you should just do both. But the first thing, your foundational point is find something, whether it's the index, whether it's Berkshire, whether maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's a mutual fund. It doesn't matter. Like find something you're contributing to every single month. And that is the foundation for your investing. And that's the foundation of your nest egg. That's the foundation of your 401k or RSP here in Canada. And then from there, then you can put 10% of, well, whatever that percentage might be in your portfolio to things that are going to be a little bit riskier. That's my thing. So that when you get into something riskier in the long term, you put that percentage in, and you don't have to worry about it on the day-to-day. Speaking of things that are moving, with 2 minutes to go, Peloton really took off through 38 there. It's actually just hit 39. Snapchat just broke and went to 40 quarters. So some things really running into the close here. Not necessarily the overall market. Like we're at the highs, but we're not screaming through the highs like Peloton just won a buck off of that 38 break, so pretty clean and actually accelerating. If it wasn't for some size on the offer, I think it would already be through 39.
All right, guys, thanks again for the show. It's been a good one. Thank you to Trader Prad for coming back. You know, obviously, thanks to Arun for his continued support as well on the show. And let's just check back on marijuana here, on cannabis, because, yeah, CGC, okay, so it did fade back in. Great short off $9, man. I wrote down 10, but obviously I got a little excited there. We should have shorted 9. But again, another positive name for us, in and out, and then we took a shot there and got out. So just like how Neil was talking about how he trades a little bit, it's the same kind of style right there. You get that, then you have your out. As long as your wins are much greater than your outs, then that is what happens. And, you know, that's that trade. So again, like I said, yeah, TrueLeave, I love TrueLeave. TRUL is my biggest holding. I think it's on the CSE. This is my biggest cannabis holding right now, just because it's held up, like percentage-wise. So I really like TrueLeave. Again, a multi-state operator coming through. But with only 30 seconds left, off that bottom was good. We only have 20 seconds left now. I'm hoping it's Tony, but as I see it,
there's Tim.
Not that I'm disappointed with Tim. But I was liking Tony. There he is. What's up, Tim?
Hogging it.
Yeah, I'm still the only thing I'm disappointed is there's no man bun.
Tony's probably long Peloton right now into the close. That's probably
Tony's the man right now with only 5 seconds to go. And I kid about the man bun. It's mad jealousy. 3, 2, and 1. Let's go. Thank you, Tim, and I hope Tim's enjoying himself. It's been a good little run with him this week, and we like him. So good job, Tim. So far, so good. You get the stamp of approval. Brendan, how did we wind up?
Big day, guys. Big day. As we were saying, nice to see some follow through after a positive session yesterday. Here we go. It was all about tech. 2% there for the NASDAQ, more than 2% for the NASDAQ, 1.4 for the S&P, the Dow nicely up as well. All of this is great, but it may be a lot different tomorrow, maybe a lot more tomorrow if we get a downtick in that inflation reading.
Well, yes. Well, we'll see what happens.
I think it's all baked in, man. I mean, unless it comes way different.
Well, that's the thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're good to go. I've been talking about giving you guys the all clear for a while to buy the market, and hopefully you've been doing that. And if you have, you could sell if you're nervous. We're all the way back up. I'm just waiting for Disney here. It is taking off a little bit, but that's nothing. We'll have to wait for that report. They always come out pretty early, so I'm thinking that Disney could come out soon. And if it does, you will hear us hooting and hollering a little bit. A big thank you, of course, today to Lucas, to Tim, of course. Thank you so much to everybody. I don't see Maggie up there, but thank you to Maggie for all the work she does in the back on that. So thank you to Brendan, a great interview today. A couple good guests coming through. Thank you to Trader Prad and to Arun as well. It was a big day today, all around, man. So yeah, we're really happy with performances today. I couldn't be happier, and I think we'll do the exact same thing tomorrow. But no reports out. I saw you really looking down there. People are saying Uber maybe is out, but
I'm looking at
it isn't. So got me on that one. It is not out. So anything, Brendan, before we officially?
I don't see anything yet. No.
Okay, so on that note,
that's uneventful, but
yeah, watch the earnings for yourself then, because we are off the air. Stay tuned for the trade of the day. For Neil, I'm Sean, and for Brendan, thank you for watching. We're Trader TV Live, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Ciao, guys.
See you guys.